Right, I think we're live. Good evening. Okay, anybody there? Thought I'd go live. I was meant to go a little bit earlier, but we carried on Plodology for a little while. So, and why not? We expected that. So, yeah, I thought I'd go live. So, Baz, how you doing, mate? Grandad's jukebox, great stuff. Anybody want to talk about anything? Wow, loads of people have just popped in. I think my screen's behind time, the thing's behind time. Akash, mate, how you doing? Where have you been? Come on and say hello. Haley, how you doing? The Purifying Flame. That's a nice one. I like that. Alex Cullen, you too, Ark. Honestly, mate. And Peter, right. Peter from last night. Good evening, mate. Yeah, it's still evening. And Lithium as well. So thanks for coming in, guys. If I can just get it up on my phone. Don't know how long I'm going to be on. I am hoping Fluke's going to join us at some point. I think he will. Ben's in there as well. Hiya, Ben. Okay, just give me a sec. Okay, so there's no subject really, just general talk, kind of like what we do on a Friday at some point. That kind of stuff, if you like, or anything you want. I know Ben will probably come on at some point. Right. Okay. Let me catch up. Gosh. Visual culture. What have I missed in the chat? Alex Cullen. Right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So visual culture. It's come up. You've been a member for 3 months on my channel. Thank you very much. I don't know why this has come up. It's just come up. I don't think you can see it. It's come up in green. And Akash, hashtag BuzzFarm has been a member for 5 months, and I think I've only been going for 6 months, maybe coming up to 7. So why that's lit up, I don't know. But that is a nice thing for me to read. Thank you. And you know, the membership thing, I think it's 90, is it 50p or 99p? And then you get a little snippet of something maybe before something comes out. Or I did a poll the other night, actually, members only. And my question was, shall I carry on doing Friday nights? And last time I looked, I think it had maybe 6 votes, whatever. And 100%, everyone said, yeah, carry on, Dino. And I put that on because I knew last Friday I couldn't do it. I wasn't too good on that day. So that's why I did one on a Sunday instead. So yeah, I just went up for it that day. I was so tired and lots of things had happened before that. So Anyway, right. This is something I always like to do, which is say hello to everyone. And there's never any rush on my live, and there's no one backstage. So I know loads of people who are in here now was on plods or plodologies, and I didn't get the chance to say hello to people personally, and I do like to do that, as you know. John, yeah, you're right about the asbestos and that, and I didn't think of that before you mentioned it, so I will think about it. Yeah, definitely, and thanks for that advice. Um, what you give me for my new expeditions. I ain't gonna cut auditing out. That's not gonna stop. At the minute, it's a bit tough for me to travel and things like that. And I lost my wallet the other week, and I do have a pass, a bus and train pass, and it can get me around Greater Manchester on the train for free. On the train, anywhere out of the county, I have to pay. But on a bus, I can travel anywhere in the country. Um, but yeah, I've reapplied for that, and I'm waiting for that to come back. So then I can travel further afield. So at the minute, I'm kind of stuck in town. Gypsy, how you doing? All right, brother. How's it going, mate? Leah M, the magnificent Leah M. Um, the right word for Leah, words, maybe will never come to me to say about Leah. Daddy Orker, me old timber, how you doing? Nick's Crystals. I'm very well, actually. Thanks very much, Nick's. A few low days about a week ago, and then, yeah, I'm right back. UK Transparency as well. Thanks for all your nice comments in Plodologies Live, and good to see you back in the chat. And thanks for all your support and everything. Tyrone, Hardy Road screen down, and we can see it. I don't know what that means, mate. LJ Gabe, how you doing? And thanks for your support as well, and your nice comments and everything like that. LJ, I think you asked me twice last week, are you going live? Are you going live? So that's a nice thing. Up the cherries. Nice one, mate. You shocked me last week on Jimmy's. When you popped up in that chat, I thought, I know that name. But anyway, nice one. Gypsy, I've mentioned, shows his support. He always pops up there and says hello to a lot of people in lives and that. And he's a family man, and he's a traveller. And for those of you who don't know, and we've had a little disagreements and that, but we just crack on. Gypsy will confirm that. Me and Gypsy just crack on and say hello to each other. And simple as that. Alligator Software, greetings back to you as well. Thanks for all your nice comments. Ben, yeah, Leah, without a doubt, will definitely put your link in the chat at some point. Leah, sorry guys, sometimes I just find it hard to say things, but right. Master on as well, are you doing? Timber, right. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned everyone. I think. Yeah, it's an open chat. Whatever you want. I don't think I'll stay on too long. Depends who comes on. I am hoping Fluke will come on actually for a bit. I think he knows I've gone live. Cat Dog James. What do you mean, nope? James, nope. Nope, what? Becky McTK. What's up? A few names, new names again. Scriptsy, is that Becky? Okay. TK, how you doing? How you doing, mate? You still doing well? With your filming and that, your protests and that. Good on you. I've met TK. E-media. He's a nice young man, and he gets about. He works hard. I know that. So thanks for coming in, mate. Okay, visual. All right. Woof woof. He'll be here, guys. I know he will. He's probably fell asleep like a certain person did last Sunday on my live, and that were a good one. Yeah, because I know Fluke shared a part of that live at the point where Fluke, this guest who was backstage, fell asleep and left his voice recorder on, and we just completely had a good laugh about that. Eamon McCann, how you doing? Okay, yeah, the link, sorry, yeah. LJ, weren't it just? I'll tell you what, you would disagree with this, right? How much did Fluke laugh that morning, early morning? I've never seen him just laugh like that, honestly. So I've just put the link up, guys. There's no one back there. Right, Fluke will be popping on, guys. So can't wait for that. Always brilliant. Matt Kelly, how you doing? Those bits. UK. Fluke's already popped that part up of that live, so oh, I get what you mean. I think I get what you mean. Like, instead of showing it all, just pick certain. Yeah, okay. I might do. Mickey Mouse 123, massive respect and very much a lot of love to you, Mickey Mouse. Thank you, by the way. Roger, good evening, good morning. Yeah, thanks, UK. You did it on Sunday for me as well. I still can't pin the link for some reason. I don't get that. Let me just try one more time. Not that it matters. It'll still go up. Nah. Again, it won't let me do it. It must be me. Screbsby, I'll not be a sec early, thanks. I've just noticed you. Couple of new names in the chat. Screbsby, have you ever seen a ghost? Is that to me or everyone? Well, everyone then. No, I haven't. 6:35, Nigel. In Trinidad, Mon. Nigel knows I'm not taking the piss. 6:35 p.m. Okay, so what's that? 5 hours. Okay. Yeah, UK. I've done it before, like easy, straight away, pinned, and lately, I don't know. But yeah, YouTube. Thanks, Leah. Yeah. I thought it was me. I thought, what have I done wrong here? And I'm not that good technically, but I should know better by now. The live streams, I've done that many. Do you know what, TK? I've not been to the city for about 5 weeks or so. The last time I went was with Kat, and it was just raining and nothing happened, and we came home. But if you've got any info on abandoned places, whatever, I've been doing my hardest in research. It's so difficult. All these professional urbexers, they're fantastic. Excuse me, how they go about it, and they get all the coordinates, and they're, they're brilliant. I love it. I'm just learning, and I'm doing my best, but right, I'm gonna bring on Haley, who I think I first met on Instagram. I could be wrong, but I know she follows me, and same back on Instagram and things like that. And she started off, auditing, and there's a few videos out what she's done, and we need more people like this. And early stages, she's been brought down straight away like that, right? So, guys in the chat, advice for Haley. I'll do my best, and I think she means business. So, good evening.
Can you hear me, Dino?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, this is absolutely terrible, this signal. Do you know, it was all right, and then it's just gone really bad in the last couple of minutes. But I'm just going to shut down my Wi-Fi on my phone and stuff, and then I'm not using too many devices. Sorry, because I'm just trying to shut everything else down. And then, yeah, lovely. Right, sorry, sweet. Yeah. So hopefully when I jumped on Plods there, I made a bit of sense. Hopefully you many devices. Sorry. Right. Just trying to shut everything else down, and then let me get rid of the lovely. Right. So how do I stop this chat on here? Yeah.
So right. Have you still got YouTube on, Haley, as well as StreamYard? If you just leave StreamYard on and take everything off and just leave StreamYard on.
Right.
There you go.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, that's better actually. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
So I can just hear myself. Hey guys, hi guys. I can just hear myself, Dino. This is really annoying. I am new to this, guys. Please bear with me.
Are you on your laptop or your phone? Or
I'm on my laptop at the minute.
So on your laptop, have you got more than one window open? Right, I think she'll come back on. Yeah,
I can still hear
spoke to Haley. Oh, you're back, right? Okay.
Just bear with me, hon. Do you know what? If I go off, I'll come back on because for some reason I can just hear myself echoing. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Completely.
Yeah, if you, it's all right, Ellie. Jump back on if you want. But if you've got more than one device on when you're on StreamYard, it will echo. So as long as you've only got StreamYard on and nothing else, whether it's on your phone or turn your volume down on it, you'll be fine.
Oh God! Right, it might be just best me just shutting everything down, Dino, and just starting
whenever
again.
You're ready.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, no
really
worries.
Annoying. I can't stand the sound of my own voice. I feel sorry for
everyone else who's
got to listen to me. Bless you. At
Same
least
here.
yours is not very pitched. And a
Right.
proper,
So
proper Yorkshire accent.
while you're sorting that out, I've got my friend Tyrone. I'll just mute Haley for a quick sec. Right, she's gone. Master Ron, how are you doing? And Tyrone, how are you doing, guys?
Hello there, Dino. Hello, Tyrone.
Yeah, but how are you? Like I'm saying, that building, it was that toilet bit. It was all that, you know, where that toilet bit where you went in and it had that metal gate. Up on top of you, it looked like asbestos on top of your head. You know, the thing what's falling down.
Tyrone,
That's
right. This is what Tyrone's like. He'll just come straight out with something, right? It was thingy, yeah. The asbestos, what do you call it, in between the floorboards, yeah. Insulation thing, yeah.
It looked like it had black in it, black stuff in it. It was like blacky yellowy. It looked like, didn't it? But it looked like being burnt as well. The asbestos I don't think it burns asbestos, does it? Because that's where you can see the richness of it, innit? But it's mad, ain't you? Going in buildings like that, you got to be careful of that, do you know? No, that's
I know, mate, and I get a lot of. Honestly, I do get. I know. Obviously, I know that, but I would rather do them on my own. And
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, and I know, mate, but adventurous wise, yeah.
The buses, you got to be careful. They could have it as well, you know, because the old buses have asbestos inside them as well. Old buses. Why isn't it? And I've just come out with it. I was thinking, I was like yourself, Dean. I was thinking about it. Like,
no, I know it's nice. I can tell when people comment and say things about it, like Dino, please, because that to me that means people are concerned about you, and that's nice. That is, and you know, I would never if somebody's still got feedback.
You know, I think it's Master Ron. Master Ron, it's echoing when we talking. His think it's moving. I think it's clear with him.
Keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not me.
Yeah. Haley can try again. Let's see how this is now.
Hello, guys.
That's perfect, I think.
I am such a novice, aren't I? Honestly, I'm really sorry about that, everyone listening. That must have been so annoying. Bear with me. I'm just learning.
No, you don't have to apologise. It happens all the time. If you're new to live streams, honestly, well, we were all the same, but I'm sorry about this. Honestly, I'm still fairly crap at getting technical with lives. I'm too busy. I've got I think I'll go really cockeyed because I kind of have one eye on the screen, one eye on the chat, and then my third eye tries to read the phone. It's madness. Don't worry about it. Honestly, you're loud and clear now.
Oh, that's fab. Yeah, I think I've just got too many windows up.
Oh, don't worry. We learn from it, and then we still cock it up as well as we go along. So.
Oh, I feel a bit better then. Hi, Master, and hi, Ryan. I'm Haley. Well, I've not done a very good job so far, Dino, of keeping my real name under wraps, have I?
Does that bother you? I mean, you know,
not really. It doesn't. No, it was more keeping it from YouTube because obviously the other two accounts I had in my real name, they clocked me straight away. They were all over me. So that's why this third one's just in. It's just one of the names of my business, by the way. It's a long story.
Queen Bee. I do like it though. Queen Bee.
Yeah, it was just a random thing, but it was a long story behind it. It's a bit of a nickname of mine, but yeah, so it was more just hiding from YouTube to try and see if I could get away with it. But no, their algorithm's a bit smarter than me. So.
And I know on that logo, that is you. That is your real photo.
That is me, sweet. Yeah, because I think I've got the same photo on my Instagram.
Guys, calm down in the chat. That is really this woman who's speaking. So,
yeah.
If you look at the picture, just look quickly and, just don't linger on it because I don't want you to start getting too frisky in the chat. No, she is.
Hey, I was hoping that was
You're a very beautiful looking
natural.
lady, Haley. So,
Bless you. Give
right,
over.
I'm going to
not
bring.
even I'm sat here in my pajamas. That's why I'm not on camera.
Do you know every time you spoke to me on Instagram and your messages, the way you write things, the links you send me and everything, I know I don't reply back that often, and I'm like that with everyone. Honestly, I
No,
am.
do you know what? I'm the
And
same.
I would love
No,
to,
do you know
if,
what? I'm
if there
exactly
was
the same.
enough hours in a day, do you know what I mean?
Do you
And
know,
that's my
I
excuse,
mentally
really.
reply to people. Yeah, and if you're out like me, like I mentally reply. Like Mum texts me at 4:00, and I replied to her at like 9:30, and she gets worried. You know, I'm like, well, I won't say my age, but I'm in my 30s, and she's still like, "Are you all right? You've not replied after 2 hours," and I'm like, "Yeah, do you know what, Mum? I mentally replied to you, but yeah, so no, don't worry. Don't worry, mate,
Spot
honestly.
on. Well
Don't
said.
worry.
Thanks for pulling me out of that one. Right, guys, listen. Fluke's here, and I think Master Ron, I'll bring you back on. But I just want to let Fluke go on, mate.
I said, I know you don't reply.
Are you being funny?
Oh, Becky, bless you.
Must have.
Tyrone, did I send you the full PDF on the full search code of practice for 43?
Yeah,
right?
but when I rang you on the phone.
Honestly, mate, you won't. Fluke will right when I bring Fluke on. He will, and I'm honestly, mate, you won't believe it. I am very busy, and I have like and I don't mean this to sound thingy, but I have a priority line, and half the time I'm looking after my sick father and things like that. So by the time I get home, my mind switches off and tries to come down off the time I spent with my dad, and think it's not as that. Do you know what I mean, mate? I don't disrespect or anything. If it's very important, I will reply, and that's why I sent you that PDF, because that's very important. But a lot of the time, if it's just hi, how you doing, and I might just put hi back rather than go into. I don't mean any. I wouldn't have you on otherwise. I wouldn't have you on, right? We'll cut that one. So I'm
yeah.
Right. If you can just let Fluke introduce himself, please, and say good evening to everyone. Good evening,
Hello,
how are you doing? You have a bit of a resemblance to somebody, Fluke.
Looking with shades on it.
I was going to put on a squeaky voice and claim my allegiance to the government, but
I had to look twice then, actually.
So I had to fuck it off and go, fuck that shit, I'm not doing it. So, there you go.
Some of you may not know what that's about, but listen, mate, good evening, and thanks for coming on, mate, as always, guys. Fluke's here.
No, Dino, thank you for having me on, and I do appreciate it. And I know there's a lot of people support me in the chat, and a lot of people that kind of, not quite sure what I'm all about. So that's okay. But hello to everyone in the chat as well: Master Ron, Queen Bee, and Ryan. Norman.
Hi.
Ryan. All right. Hi. So yeah,
Hello, Flo.
Yeah, all right, mate. How you doing? Yeah, I thought I'd pop on quickly just to say that I haven't got anything prepared. So if you want to ask me any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. But yeah, I just wanted to join in with the panel. So
yeah, cheers, mate. It is one of them lives. It's like Fridays is kind of set in stone, but tonight I thought while plodding myself around, it doesn't last long, and I thought sometimes I just like carrying on. So I thought, do you know what? Why not? Because I love doing live streams and talking to people. So and I do things in between, and but yeah, this is my life at the minute, YouTube. So I'll do as much as I can.
I think the other thing is we've all got to remember that this isn't going to last long, because you know, we've got the cyber polygon coming in soon, and soon enough they'll just go, right, we don't like what he said, we don't like what Fluke said, we don't like what Dino said, we don't like what Queen Bee said, we don't like what Masteron said. And when they shut it all down, when it comes back online, we'll all be gone. It's as simple as that. Because they wouldn't do it for any other reason than silencing people.
Not last 2 minutes. I've already been banned on 2 accounts in 24 hours, so I've not lasted long at all.
Oh, hey, I'm early. I'm sorry. Right. Do you want to go through that? Because I know Fluke will have something to say, and then it's happened to me as well. Do you want to talk us through that? Like, from when you first started doing what you've been doing, and then how quickly this has happened to you since you started doing it?
Since what do you mean, from the beginning or from just the last couple of days?
Since this happened to you, but like, how long have you been doing what you've been doing before?
Oh, right, sorry. You know what, as well, if it sounds like I'm speaking over everyone, it does keep jumping, so sorry about that if I'm speaking over anyone, first of all.
Don't apologise.
I know I just feel really rude, but so basically I just because I've been censored so much over the last 18 months, I've not been in this community, done anything like that. I've been sort of just posting my views on social media. I'd all my business taken down on social media, totally been censored, shadow banned massively on every social media platform going. I'd wars with the council about keeping my business open over lockdown, which I'm not here to promote my business, so that's irrelevant, but even though it's online. So I had all these wars going on and whatever. And then basically I just sacked off social media, bearing in mind I've spent a lot of money over the last 3 or 4 years on social media, on business. And then I just accidentally in April came across the auditing community. Basically, I was watching, it was actually Bannerman, bless him, big up Bannerman, love that guy. He was he was covering the protest in Sheffield, and I remember it was when the snooker was on, so it was about April time, snooker, you know, the World Championships in Sheffield, and which is my neck of the woods. And I was watching this protest that Bannerman was covering, and I really enjoyed the video and stuff. And then obviously that led me on to more of Bannerman's videos, and then obviously through watching him, it led me on to obviously more auditing guys. I've just spent since sort of April watching that. It's given me it's given me the inspiration to think, well, actually, do you know what? I've got a lot to say, but I've been censored on social media, and actually this is a good platform and a good way to be able to do it. Because all this censorship that I've had just gave me more motivation to get out there and ask more questions, basically. I'm not here to make money. I don't even know how all this subscribing thing works. I'm totally useless. So that's not why I'm here. I'm just here to get my point across and basically ask questions that everybody now wants to know. But a lot of people, it does actually take some I'll say guts to go out and do that. And I admire you guys massively, because the first time I did it, and it was so random, and I just switched my camera on, and there was 6 guys, there was 6 security guys, and just myself, and it was like, this is actually pretty daunting, and actually there's no police here, it's just security. But you know what, like, I got my point across, and I actually just forgot that I was filming. I I clearly said way too much for YouTube. I was totally over target, because I uploaded the video to my old account, and within an hour, I got a few views on it. Ryan, big up Ryan Rampage, shared it, and within an hour, it was taken down. So I thought, right, okay, got my blood up, and I was like, you're not going to censor me. So I set another account up, still in my own name again. Again, that was taken straight down again. So I was like, right, do you know what? I'm not having, and this has all been within the last 48 hours. So this account I'm on now is literally just about 1 day old. And I had another interaction yesterday. Was it yesterday, day before? Uploaded that stayed on. Tried to upload this one. Of course, they've took it off straight away, given me my first strike. So I'm now on a 7-day ban. I can't post for 7 days on my brand new account. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, I'm just here, Dino. I'm just here to get my point across. It's just a good way of doing it. And just ask the questions that people want to know, but actually not everyone wants to go out there and ask these questions. It's a hard thing to do. I get that. I'm not bothered because I'm ballsy. So I'll go out and I'll ask anyone anything, you know. But not everyone's got the confidence to do that. So and obviously there's not many females doing this, but there's room for everyone, you know, and I think everyone should be doing this now. I think everyone, with or without a camera, should be going out now and asking questions, because we all know now that there's something not right. So, you know, I think everyone should be going out now and asking questions, asking their own questions, or asking questions on behalf of everyone, what we all want to know. Hey, Chris. Hey, everyone. So that's basically where I'm at, guys.
That for me is, you know, do you know that is fantastic what you've said. We're absolutely clear as anything that were. Thanks for that. Amazing.
No,
so you'll get her back in if you can put a little hello in the chat, that I can moderate you. And then if you've got any links to put up in the chat, put the links up to your videos. So if you just put hi in the chat, I'll moderate you. Then you can put links up. Pardon?
In the chat, in the private chat at the side.
No, just in the normal chat, in the normal comment chat.
Why can't I comment in there? It's not letting me comment. Do you know? I can see all the comments, but I can't comment for some reason. What's going on?
If you go down to chat publicly, the bottom part of the chat, where you can actually comment at the bottom of the chat. You'll see the bar post a comment. But anyway, yeah, I'll mod you up so you can put a link in there or two about what you do and your videos and that.
Well, like I said, there's I think there's two videos on my channel at the minute, which is just a little interaction I had with a
doesn't matter. Yeah.
But these testing sets, you know, I'm finding that they're going to be, and Bear said this to me earlier, that I think the testing sets are going to be very, very difficult, because it's just going to come up as medical misinformation. And because I'm new to YouTube as well, obviously I don't know YouTube guidelines. I don't know when you're going to be over target. I know in most of my videos I'm going to be massive. I'm going to have to really filter myself, because I know I'm going to be massively over target, because I've got no filter. I'll say it how it is. I'll go out there and I'll just say it how it is, as though I'm
there's hell of a lot, as Flute will tell you. There is hell of a lot to YouTube's policies and things like that. But just read through them a little bit, like terms and conditions and all that, and guidelines, all that stuff. But medical misinformation, it's happened to me twice. I know exactly how you feel on that, and I feel totally unjustified because of the way my videos were, i.e. they were live, and I got pulled up for it, even though I didn't know what was going to happen, because I'm like live, and something happened to me.
But do you know what? I've watched some videos of people at testing sites and stuff, and they've not been taken down.
Do you know what?
Out at testing sites and stuff, and they've not. And I'm thinking, like I said to you, that original video. If I could, in fact, I think I tried to send it you via private message, and it was too long to send you the full, because it was 26 minutes, the full video. You've seen a clip of it, which is the bit that's on my Insta, but the full video was 26 minutes. I had interaction with 6 security guards and a couple of members of the public. So it was in total, it was 26 minutes long. But it was clearly just over target. But I look at some, like I said, I've watched these other videos and I've been like, well, they're doing pretty much the same thing. Like, and theirs are still up. Like I don't get it. Like
it's happened to me. It's happened to me recently as well. 2 of us on a job. 2 videos, like we were there a while, so it was like a 2-parter on both of our channels. I got my first one taken down and the other person didn't, and that was over a privacy complaint. Weird how there's 2 people filming the same situation, but only one of you gets taken down for a privacy complaint where they were clearly in public, where everything was publicly accessible.
Mine was on a public car park. They were parked.
And I got 3 complaints, three different complaints on one video, and that were the first 3 people in the first part of that video. I can't remember what I said to them or whatever, but they mustn't have liked it. But yet, when the other YouTuber were filming the same thing, that video was kept up. So maybe it was something I said. I don't know. But I don't care because I've still got it on my stick and I will re-upload that at some point.
Right.
But yeah, I don't get it. Medical misinformation policy is a load of bollocks. When you read it,
the thing is, it's like with anything, it's like with all the social media sites, right? If you know you're on target, right, when they're taking you down, because this is the thing, right, with this movement, as they call it, and all this freedom and right, all these shows, they're not getting taken down. I'll tell you why they're not getting taken down, because the shows, and that's how you know the shows, right? If you're getting your channel taken down, you're genuine, right? If you're getting channel after channel after channel taken down, you're genuine. All these people on social media that are saying the right things and pretending to be on the side of the people and the massive followings and all this, and they're not getting taken down, alarm bells need to start ringing there straight away.
Do you know what, Ailey, right? You're very spot on. I love your logic and the way you come across is fantastic. I know it's one of these conversations, like we could go on non-stop, but we have got...
I'm not angry, I'm just passionate
No. I want you to come back in on this a little bit later. It's just Tyrone, Master Ron. I want to bring Fluke in next, but before I do, listen... I know I've only got very few mods in the chat, right? But this is my life, and there's some things I say on my live which I don't say on others. Criminal catcher. Come on, panel. Jump on. What do you mean? Explain. Jump on. Okay? I've had a few of these off you. Please come on. Criminal catcher. Most people, thanks so much. I think there's been 1 or 2 other idiots in there, but Leah is in there, and that's all I need to know to relax. But because it's my life, I will bring stupid comments up like that. Bring your proof of what was it? I've done a criminal...
I know it's difficult.
An injunction for someone's motorbike levers and harassing them. Brilliant. Bring your proof.
I just wouldn't give them attention, Dino, because to be fair, that's all they want.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, Fluke, sorry about that, mate. I just thought I'd bring that one up. Motorbike.
Right, mate, you bring
okay. No, it's fine. I don't even know anyone who's got a motorbike apart from Biker Eddie. In fact, he's not even got one of them now. It's a frigging moped, apparently. So I will ignore it. It's just with a name like that, and you've probably got minus 500 subs on your pathetic, non-existent channel. Go away. It's the newspaper, it's not made up. Bring it on.
Natural, yes, mate. Dino, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be a bit starstruck when I speak to Natural because I've watched some of his videos and he's absolutely had me rolling around the freaking floor, mate. I swear to God.
He's a scream. He's brilliant. I've met him, and
I'm putting in again, but the best one when they were out in the woods catching them doggers. Oh my God, Dino, that was.
he's a legend, and I've met him, and a lot of people get him wrong. So I said, but I need to bring Fluke in, guys. Honestly, sorry, but thanks for all that. All you trolls, go and fucking do one. Just leave us alone.
Sorry, was that my introduction?
Kind of, in a way. I tried it a few times, but yeah. You want that?
One.
Tyrone? Okay. Go on,
I'm saying
Fleet,
it didn't pop up Podologies because it don't pop up sometimes, like your channel. Your channel don't pop up sometimes, you know, when it comes up. I was just looking.
Oh, we take it in turns. Yeah, it's like.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about something. Outside mine Monday, it was all police outside my house and everything, and because of my next door.
Right.
So I was just thinking, yeah, it was outside the police coroner because someone, the next door neighbour, his son killed his mother. He did. But I didn't want to go outside my own house. You know, couldn't be asked doing it. But I was going to record it, but I couldn't be bothered because I didn't want Bill know where I live in it. I'd be like, oh, I know where you live here. You live in such and such a place, innit? You're not going to do it right outside your house, are you? And they go, oh yeah, I know where you live.
You're dying to film stuff, aren't you, Tyrone? You're dying to film stuff. Am I right?
But it's not the point. They're not there. Even my next door neighbour now will talk to us and says, "What's gone on?" Well, we've seen coroners taken out. I am. Right. But I don't want to do it outside my house because I don't really want the pigs knowing where my place is, isn't it? You know, you got to think on about that. You know what I mean? That's smart, don't you? Not, you know.
I know what you mean.
Where you live, do you?
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Would you rather just Tyrone? Mate, hang on. You made your point.
What went on? My dad was like, "Oh, that was Monday. That was Monday." It's like, "Oh."
Do you know what I'd do if I were you? Just going off all the times we've spoken and things like that. What I would do if I was you, right, is get your camera out.
Yeah.
And when you say, oh, the pigs, they know where I live and shit like that, well, they know where I live. But I'm doing nothing wrong. Yeah. So, anyway, Fluke's nipped off. Listen, I have tried to let Fluke speak. Right. What I don't want to do is start muting people. Okay. But I have got other guests on, so... there is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at Haley's Instagram so I can try and share that link, that video, if I can. In fact, I will do that at some point. I'm hopeless.
Dino, don't go getting your channel banned, mate. Don't go getting any strikes from me. Sorry, whoever's speaking. Sorry, darling. Dino, don't go getting a strike for me, my friend.
No, okay, I'll check it out first and then whatever.
Because like I said, they've took it down off mine 3 times, so I don't want you getting a strike because of my stuff. That's all. Okay,
I'll check it first. No worries. But yeah, you've made people aware of it, and good on you, Haley, for doing what you've done.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm surprised Instagram have kept it up.
But that could be a different kettle. I mean, I don't know much about Instagram, but I know other platforms like Discord, they will allow is it Discord? BitChute. They will allow anything what YouTube. But can I just say, I'm sorry, Haley, I'm one of them. When people pop up in the chat, I do like to say hello. None your business. This guy from Australia. I don't know what time it is there, mate, but thanks for popping in and thanks for what you've done for me in the past. And check his channel out, guys. His link will go up very shortly. That's None Your Business. Top guy and a massive, as Leah would put it, community supporter, as well as having a massive channel. So check him out. Flute, Lynette, honestly, I'm going to give, when Flute comes back on, he'll talk and, we'll all have a good listen. 9/11 Nunya, what are we? Right, 11. So 3 hours? No, AM. Shit, that is 15. I'm crap at maths. So it's 9:11 AM in Australia where Nunya lives, but there's different time zones in Australia. So if it's 9/11, they're a day in front, don't forget. So 9 hours. 9 hours in front of us. So good morning, Nunya. Great work, mate, and thanks for your what you've done for me and everything, mate. Honestly, sometimes when you do so many lives and you see regular people, you kind of run out of certain words to say, but it's always a big thank you, Joe Black as well, mate. Thanks for coming in, Joe Black. Just want to mention Joe. He's done a lot of work for me for nothing, like of his own accord, and he's done a couple of outros for my videos, and I don't use them as much these days, but that's no disrespect, he knows that. And he also set a merchandise thing up for me as well, without me knowing. But a massive thanks to Joe for doing that and going out of your way for doing that without me even knowing, mate. It's just massive, that is. Just knowing people are thinking about you and they do something before they even tell you they've done it. And it's all for you and not them. So I do respect that, guys. I do have massive amounts of empathy. So I don't just say things, I do mean them. I do. And Steve-O as well, if you crap at maths, then remember that 79p I lent you with interest is 18 quid. How did you work that out, Steve-O? 79 pence. It wasn't 79 pence, guys. Right? It was 19 pence. That's how much of a miser that guy. He's a miser, he is. I tell you, I asked him to lend me a quid, right, so I could get a vegan sausage roll from Greg's. And he went, fuck you, Dino, la. Get your own fucking, go and fucking sit on the fucking doorway for half an hour and get your quid. Pretend you're a beggar, you already look homeless, you scruffy bastard. I'm joking, guys.
You missed out funny lad, didn't you?
Me and Steve-O are very much attached in some ways, if you like. None of your business. He's just donated 50 Aussie dollars to my channel. Thanks again, mate. It's not the first time he's done it, so thanks very much. Honestly, it means a lot. Thanks, mate. Yeah, big up, Nunya.
Have a good night at work, Nunya.
Right. What do you mean by that, Annabelle? I'm going to let Flute speak for a minute, and not only that, I'm going to go off for a quick pee as well. So please leave it to Flute for a few minutes, guys.
Yep, that's fine. I did want to answer a couple of questions that you might have had, Dino, but obviously you've gone off. But
no, go on. Sorry.
Well, it's a combination of things, actually. It's like what Queen Bee was saying about her YouTube and stuff, and what she's done on social media, and what we've all done on social media. You know, I've been pretty outspoken in the last 18 months about what I've had to say, and you know, even if I put up something on YouTube that's pretty, you know, nondescript, you know, they still shadow ban me, and I've got 7,000 subscribers, but I only get 400 views, you know, on my videos. So it's happening to everybody, and this is the point that you have to understand, and it's so important. It's just because this is all controlled by Silicon Valley. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter whether you have a YouTube account or a Google account or a Yahoo account or a Gmail account or whatever account you've got, a Facebook account, what's the other one? Not Facebook.
Just all the big tech, isn't it?
That's it. It's just completely controlled. It's completely controlled because I've seen guys, and I've been following some of these guys for like 10 years, and they were putting up stuff 18 months ago that was stuff from the CDC's own website and the World Health Organization's own website, and they were just copy and pasting this stuff into their own videos and saying, this is what the World Health Organization is saying. This is what the CDC is saying. That's off their own website, and they were repeating exactly what was on World Health Organization's website and the CDC's own website, and they were posting it to their YouTube channels and saying, look, I'm not saying this. This is them saying it. And they were being removed from YouTube for literally copy and pasting exactly what the CDC and the World Health Organization was saying. And they were being removed.
So it's like keywords, isn't it? It's like the algorithms just picking up on certain keywords.
The point is, it doesn't matter what you say, because they've now got an absolute coalition, if you like, on what you say. Even if you report what, you know, CNN says, or Fox News, or the BBC, or CDC, or World Health Organization, even if you repeat what they say on their live streams and their YouTube channels, and or whatever you say on their websites, even if you repeat verbatim the facts that they're telling the public and you repeat it, right, you'll be removed from YouTube. That's what we've got to contend with, because it doesn't matter what you say. It's just a case of whether we agree with what you say or disagree with what you say, or we're irrelevant to what you say, then we reserve the right to remove you from the internet. That's what they're doing. You know, that's what you've got to contend with. I know it's not. I know I'd like to come up with something that was more suitable and acceptable and a way out of this situation, but there isn't a way out of that situation, because they've now come up with a way of just going, right, regardless of what you say, who you quote, and whatever you say, right, whether it's right, wrong, irrelevant, or with the mainstream media or against the mainstream media, we reserve the right to fucking stop you from saying it.
We've got jurisdiction, basically.
That's a removal of your right to freedom of speech, your rights to freedom of expression, your right to freedom and gather and disseminate information. That's what they're trying to do. And they don't care whether you're right or wrong. They'll remove you if they just don't like you. That's the point. And that's what people need to. And, you know, this is another thing that a lot of people don't understand is Gmail accounts, right? Oh, you know, go to any auditor across the world, whether it's Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, whatever, they've all got a Gmail account. Who controls the Gmail account? Google, right?
Google.
So
yeah.
If we exchange emails back and forth, you know, discrediting or trying to discredit or trying to bring out any truth via your Gmail account, who do you think's got control of that Gmail account? Google has control of that. Who's got control of your YouTube account? Google. Who's got control of all of it is Alphabet Inc. They've got control of all of it. So I can't believe that these people, and don't get me wrong, I've got a Proton Mail account, and now even another guy has put out a video about 2-3 weeks ago, showing that Proton Mail is part of Google.
Oh, really?
So it does. This is the point. The point is, the whole point of the situation we're in at this current time is the fact that regardless of what email account you have, what YouTube account you have, what Facebook account you have, what Twitter account you have, etc., it doesn't matter. They've got control of it, and they have to have control of it, because without control of it, they can't control your freedom of speech. It's as simple as that. So forget about it. So yes, we can put up everything we like. We can do all these live streams and and this, that, and the other. But every account you hold is effectively controlled by Alphabet Inc. and Silicon Valley, basically, at the end of the day. That they control it all. Okay? They're not going to, there's no way these people were going to hedge their bets and say, well, we'll let them have that private email account over there, or this private email account over here, or this private email account over there. They wouldn't do that. They want control. And the only way they can control it all is by controlling every platform, every email account, every Twitter account, every Facebook account, everything. They have to have control of it, right? Without control of that, they can't control your freedom of speech. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's why it was all set up in the first place.
Don't think that by having a Proton Mail account or this account or that account somehow protects you from being, invaded to a certain degree, or, because it won't. It's as simple as that. So we're left with two options here. We are literally going down the road of the Klaus Schwab's. Klaus Schwab's. What do they call it? Oh, sorry, I've had a brain fart. What they're sort of, this major hack on the internet, and it's gonna, and to paraphrase what he said that, this major hack on the internet will make, COVID-19 look like a mere inconvenience. Now, if COVID-19 has been a mere inconvenience to us, can you imagine what they've got planned next?
What do you mean, Fluke? Do you mean like with the EBS or something? Do you mean the EBS?
I don't know what you mean by EBS, but please.
The emergency broadcast system, or the blackout. I don't know what you mean
No, this comes down to like Cyber Polygon. I don't know if you know about Cyber Polygon, but CyberCop. What you've got to remember is these.
Sarah, I know you there.
These people plan this stuff before they implement it. Look at Event 201, which was a complete pandemic trial of what would go on, sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, sponsored by the Rockefeller Foundation, sponsored by the John Hopkins University, which was sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation. They were all involved in the whole Event 201, and the Event 201 was all about a national, worldwide pandemic that they had to respond to, and this is how they responded to it, and that was COVID-19. Right now, they're going, Now they're saying, well, Cyber Polygon could be the next big fucking threat to the world, right? And what is the next big threat to the world? Cyber Polygon, which is about, they're talking about a major cyber threat to the world based on the fact that hackers are going to hack, you know, God knows what information, you know, and threaten the whole, you know, the whole way the world runs. And this is not a simplification of it. This is just like about the fact that the whole world runs on the internet. Everything runs on the internet. And as Klaus Schwab said, and I paraphrase again, he said, the way this is done is the fact that there's going to be a threat to the internet, and it will take down everything, right? And it will make COVID-19 look like a mere inconvenience. And this is the psychological aspect of these people and the way they think. Because apparently COVID-19 has killed nearly 5 million people worldwide, but these people consider that to be a mere inconvenience. That's how these people think. They ain't psychologically right. These people don't give a flying fuck about you, your freedoms, your family, your kids, nothing. They don't give a shit about any of it. They see that what's happened with COVID-19 is a mere inconvenience.
I think, sorry, Fluke. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Spot on. I know Ailey's definitely into this, what you're saying, for sure. First time you've met, right? First time you've spoken. Right, no worries. Master Ron, I know you're on these lines as well. What do you think about that?
Well, I can't. Fluke has basically said it all. But like I always said, like Fluke was saying, they're saying around about 5 million have supposed to have died from the sea. Well, the numbers are far greater than that, which have died over this, and that is your cancer patients, your kidney patients, your heart patients. That far outweighs all these people that didn't get their treatment. Far outweighs. Those are the people that those are the numbers I want to see, and I also want to see the numbers where people weren't diagnosed early enough. So these 5 million is nothing compared to the people that they've actually killed over this. And it is, they killed them. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to mince my words, because if you hold back people's treatment to keep them alive, and you hold back to diagnose people to keep them alive, then you have actually killed them. Like, I saw this thing the other day to do with DNR. I think Fluke hit it, was talking about DNR on your channel, Dino. And you have to take in, for me, you have to take in account that the families weren't even allowed to authorize them to have that power to actually do it, because they kept you away from seeing how your family, you know, if it's your parent, your brother, your sister, whoever it is, you are having that power taken away from you to see if it warranted that. And these are the numbers which I want to see. It was hit on that mental health patients were put on that as well. Those are the numbers I want to see. So this 5 million, no, they're not the casualties out of it. The other people, which the agenda behind this, for me personally, was all about, was the other numbers. When we're talking about
I 100% agree with you, Ron. Massive respect to you for saying that. You've just said exactly what I think. Of course, and the people in the care homes with the midazolam and all that business, yeah. And I just hope we live to see the day that you know, that becomes common knowledge. But I personally 100% agree with you, exactly what you've just said there, Ron. Fluke, you as well. But Ron, with what you say about the deaths and stuff, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
like
think
that.
Flute might want to elaborate on what Master Ron's just said there as well. So
Yeah. What I wanted to say is now when we go back to the original whole COVID when it started and everything else, why do you think that these people put do not resuscitation notices on people with learning disabilities
Yeah.
for a respiratory virus? So you could be 15 years old and absolutely have no problem with respiratory viruses, right? No complications, no physical disabilities. Why would they put a do not resuscitation notice on you because you've got learning difficulties? Because this comes back to the eugenics agenda. And I know I've mentioned this before, and I can go through it if you want me to, but because I've done a lot of research on this, right? And this makes no sense. It makes no sense. If you've got a respiratory virus that is affecting and killing old people and people with comorbidities, existing health problems, right? How does having a learning disability make you? How does having a learning difficulty make you subservient to a certain degree to a respiratory virus? It makes no connection whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever. It can only be an eugenics agenda. Why is it that when AstraZeneca was withdrawn, the AstraZeneca vaccine was withdrawn from like 22 countries withdrew the AstraZeneca vaccine, that they said, right, okay, we'll withdraw it from all those countries, but we'll just send it all off to Africa, Asia, and India and Pakistan. Why are they sending a drug that's been withdrawn from all first world countries and sending it off to third world countries? That can only be, what's that agenda? I'll go back to, if you want me to, I can go through this very briefly if you want me to go through it, but I'll go through the research that I did briefly. But
again,
it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, none of it. I know, Fluke.
we can. I'll tell you what. We'll go back to that in a bit after we've heard. Probably Haley's got a lot to say about what Fluke's just said. It's a massive subject, but I've had someone backstage right now. It's not plodology, okay? But I just want to bring this person on. Yeah. Now, listen, Sarah, behave yourself, right? Or else you'll be straight off, okay? So if we can, I'm sorry about this. It's a bit, woof, what's this compared to what we've been saying and that, but...
I was going about this person.
What?
There's a person.
What's happening, Dino?
There's a person on telly.
No. Sorry. Hello. I don't think you need to say that, but hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Massive respect for what you say. Hello. I've been listening to everything that you've said, and it's completely. I completely concur.
And then she said she don't want to be resuscitating. She didn't. It was a person on TV. She was getting an ankle. She's getting an ankle redone. She was, and she had pneumonia. She did pneumonia and cancer in her lungs, and she didn't want resuscitating. She didn't, because she went for an operation, and it went a bit compensation. It did. She was like passed out for 25 minutes. She was, and they couldn't resuscitate her. She didn't want resuscitating, but she come back alive out the drug a little bit out. She was a bit woozy. She, what's just happened? Because she didn't want resuscitating because she had spread of cancer. She had
Who's this? Sorry, mate. Who's this you talking about? Sorry.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Internet must not
Right.
work.
Okay. Zara, listen, I know you've been backstage and we've been talking about all this and that, and so you've been waiting, and I thought we'll take a break from that. And bring you on. And how you doing? You all right?
Huh?
Zara?
Yeah. I'm good, thank you. How are you all?
Great. Yeah. Thanks.
I've been quite poorly, to be honest, but it wasn't blooming COVID. But yeah, I've been really quite poorly, but better today. So thank you.
Oh, I was talking about a person on telly. She had an operation on her ankle. She was like 60.
Did you just say on telly,
she didn't want
Tyrone, on TV?
Because she had cancer.
Right, and what it is, Tyrone, right, we're completely off the subject with what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? I don't get what you're saying. So if you just want to let Zara speak for a minute.
No, fine. No, honestly.
Well, you've just come on, I brought you on, and you said hello. Is there something you want to say? Or... What?
I did want to say what Flu mentioned with the DNRs. When the very first lockdown came, I received a DNR for my 12-year-old son who has asthma. I mean, to the extremity that he's under a consultant. But I was beyond livid. Can you imagine? It's your son. And I was like,
you're right now? Everything good?
Sign this and send I was fuming.
Stop
said, oh no, sorry, it's automated. It's just automated. Just know that we apologise. And I was like, an apology is not enough. That is my 12-year-old son. Imagine if I was not in my right frame of mind and I just signed that and sent that back. And he had an asthma attack and ended up in hospital, which is quite frequent, in the winter month. So, yeah. That was, it's just another thing, isn't it? But, yeah, I'm just reiterating everything that you've already said. You're so articulate. You can put it a lot better than I can. I'm just here to listen and show support, really.
Thanks for that. Yeah, cheers. I know you've been on a couple of times before. But thanks for coming back on. But yeah, we'll get back to subject, I think.
Well, that does, in a way, that does. I have to say that, say if the child was 16, 18, 20-year-old who suffered with chronic asthma as well, the parent wouldn't have allowed to be there. And they could have gone ahead and done how many of them patients then? With Zara saying that, well, obviously being a minor, she was able to be there and speak up. Well, a 16-year-old, 18-year-old or whatever may have the same condition, and were they not resuscitated? See, these are that's what we're talking about, is that it comes down to, for me, how many people have actually been murdered. Let's be frank about this. Been murdered through what's been going on over the last 18 months. This is it.
Okay.
Can I just make
I
a point,
live
Dino?
in an area.
That's important is the fact that let's not be taken down the route that they want to take us down. That they have a serious agenda that they want to take us down, right? And we've got to see outside of that agenda, right? Why do they want to put DNRs on people with learning disabilities? That's got nothing to do with a fucking, a respiratory illness. The fundamental things we need to look at is look to between the lines and say to ourselves and think to ourselves, why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? Why are they going down this agenda of, we're going to lock you in your houses but keep your windows open because of a respiratory airborne virus? Well, if you're going to lock us in our houses, why do we need to open our windows? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The bullshit could not be more fucking obvious if you painted it on the side of your fucking house. This is the bullshit that the government and every government around the world has come out with for the last fucking 18 months. They didn't lie anymore if they tried, right? And this is the problem with these people. I think what they've done is they pulled the trigger on coronavirus, right, way too early. And they can't now cover it up because the amount of lies and the amount of deceit and the amount of bullshit they've come out with is just so blindingly obvious. You've got to be stupid not to fucking realise what's going on. Right?
Well, to be honest, most people are. And why do they stay stupid? Well, do you know what?
That needs to be exposed. It's like with Australia the other day, the Premier of New South Wales the other day said that even if 80% of people in New South Wales were vaccinated, that they would still have to wear masks and social distance. Now, if masks and social distancing worked, why would you need a vaccine? And if the vaccine worked, why would you need to wear masks and social distance? It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It's bullshit. And the reason it's bullshit is because they're fucking lying to everybody. Every government on this planet is taking the directions they're told to take. Boris Johnson's just a puppet. Dan Andrews, that prick in Australia.
We've said this many a time. We've said it many a time. Luke said it many a time. Friday night. The thing is, you've got the government, basically. You've got the guys above the government. And then the guys above the guys who are above the government. And you've got to think that way. These guys are clowns what are running our show. And they make clowns of people like us or sheep or whatever. But it's ridiculous. It's so in our face. It's unbelievable.
I think what people need to realise on a ground level is the fact that the government are purely just the salesman. They're trying to sell you something. They're trying to sell you this virus that is dying around the world and it's killing people and everyone's falling over in the street and everyone's dying, and they're the salesman. They don't have to rely on any evidence whatsoever. They come up with a bunch of fucking criminals who are sage and people like that, who are all backed by the very same pharmaceutical companies, the very same financial companies, very same insurance companies. Everyone's got a way into this. Everyone's going to make money out of this, right? And that's not the ultimate That's not the ultimate obligation, is to make money out of this. That's just a byproduct. It's just a byproduct of what's going on. The ultimate goal is to gain control of people. That's the ultimate goal, is just to control people. And your average Boris Johnson, your average Prime Minister of Canada, and your Prime Minister of Emmanuel Macron, or Joe Biden, who couldn't run a bath, let alone run a country, for God's sake. I mean, get a fucking grip if you think that guy's running that United States of America. Get a fucking grip. Do you know what I mean? he ain't running shit. This guy couldn't run down the road, mate. That's what people have to understand, is there's a massive amount of people behind the scenes that are pushing the buttons and telling the politicians what to do. And your politicians that you vote for aren't the people that are on your side. They're being told what to do behind your back, and they'll do whatever they need to do, regardless of your rights and your freedoms. And that's what's being taken away from you. Without rights and freedoms, you're going to lose everything.
Do you know what I mean? That is it, guys, in a nutshell, to be honest with you. And I always like hearing Fluke repeat that over and over and over again. That's what I like. I don't mean, one after the other, but every time he comes on a live, I want him to say that and then kind of embellish it by going over certain things of that great content he comes out with. So, but do you know what I mean, guys? All those people who say, yeah, Fluke this and Fluke that, no, forget that. I love it, and it needs to be said, especially from a guy who spends most of his life doing frigging research while us lot sitting on our ass or just going out filming things. Do you know what I mean? So please respect Fluke.
Let me just sort of elaborate on that just a little bit. Is the fact that the whole point of this, even the politicians and the people above them and the financial people and all the rest of it that are forcing this agenda, they don't care. What they want to do is take away your rights, because if you have no rights to freedom of speech, no rights to freedom of expression, no rights to gather and disseminate information, then you've got no rights left whatsoever. If they can take all of those rights away from you, regardless of whether it's a disease or whether it's COVID-19 or whether it's...
Luke, that comment, that comment right there now. Do you know what I mean? I said it the other night when, Master Ron was on. In fact, it was Master Ron. You mentioned it, mate, I think. And you were saying our fathers, our forefathers and all this, we go to war, we fight for freedom.
We didn't go to war. The politicians...
No. Hang on, Fluke, mate, just let me finish. I'll be short, I promise you. We go to war to fight for our freedoms, right, Master Ron?
Exactly.
And then I said to you, we've never been in freedom. Okay, so we've been brainwashed to fight a war for their freedom. We're always born into slavery. No matter what war we fight or anything like that, we're born into slavery. So I think rights and freedoms are flash in the pan in a world historical context. Nothing new under the sun.
We're all bonds and we're all entities. That's what it is. This is what I always say. We're all just bonds when we're born. Sorry.
Into slavery. Yeah.
I think if we can just boil this down into the basics, we could sit here and discuss this for the next 6 hours. But the bottom line is you don't go into an education system to learn what the word anarchy is. You don't go into an education system to learn what the financial system is all about. They don't teach you that at school, right? They don't teach you about the political situation. They don't teach you about there's an alternative to the left versus right paradigm bullshit, right? They don't teach you none of that. There's a reason they don't teach you that, because they don't want you to fucking know about it, right? That's the point. When you send your kids to school, you're giving your children to your enemy to be educated by your enemy. That's what Malcolm X said. Only a fool or the ignorant would give their children to the state to be educated by the very people that you oppose. You're
giving your children away when you register them at birth.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that earlier. That is the thing.
It's the subject.
So, the thing is that, right? How does a child educate that parent? Do you know what I mean? Because the parent is definitely not a. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Me personally, no.
the whole point of it
I
is
would
that
never
the
allow
parent
that
has
to
to be
happen.
indoctrinated in the first place so that they would give over their
Exactly.
children to be indoctrinated in the second place by their own people
So,
that they voted for. You know,
how do we come out of that? Because I must admit, and I've said it a few times, were a lot of people saying, I've said to them, how come you said that? How come you do that? They say, well, my parents said it, so I say it. My parents did it, so I do it. I'll be honest with you now, and many people will vouch for this. I've gone against that because I've questioned it. I've looked at it. I haven't taken it at face value. For some reason, that's what's been in my brain, in my mind. Maybe I'm lucky. It doesn't mean I win. It doesn't mean I get through life, superbly. The opposite, to be honest, because I'm struggling against a regime.
This is the whole point of what we're going through at the moment, regardless of whether it's COVID or whatever. If you espouse those views and you say, I'm going to take my children out of the education system, I'm going to remove myself from the taxation system, I want nothing to do with government, I'm not going to vote left or right, I'm not going to vote whatsoever, then you're a conspiracy theorist. See how the media works with the government and with the financial system and with all the others' financial systems to just ridicule you by saying
who invented that word? Conspiracy. Who invented that word? Did we invent it? Did we invent
conspiracy
it?
is actually a law. It's actually a law. If one or two or more people make up a story, whatever the story is, regardless of the story, right? And try and conflate and defraud somebody else of money, influence, or power, that's a conspiracy, right?
Right, I'm going to butt in. Sorry, guys. I will butt in just for a minute. There's someone else backstage, but Burr Britain audits. I can only get 6 on. 6 of us on. If you want to hang on, but listen, Zara, do you want to say something? Zara.
I want to say too much. It's too much to say. And it's just
what do you want to talk about? Do you relate to what's being said? Or?
Of course. So I have been scolded, more than scolded, from the school and sent social service workers around to check my mental domain because I've taught my son real history and he has questioned his teacher on, is that actually true? Are you teaching the correct numbers here? Because this has been disproven 20 years ago. So you're teaching me from old textbooks and whatever. And I have been more than scolded for that. But they've found nothing at all, that my children are more than friendly, more than polite, more than well cared for, actually spoiled. And they said exceptionally well mannered. But I have actually been, who is it that's trying to bring me down because my child questions something? Now, I have wanted to take my children out of the school system, but just the purely social factor, he loves it. He's in secondary school. And both of my children
that's fine. Would you be willing, Sarah, would you be willing to say, maybe give it a go? Like, say to the school, look, can I give it a go? Home educate, and it's perfectly legal. I'm allowed to do it. If you allow me to give it a go, if I start to fail, can I bring them back to school? What do you think they'd say to that? I don't know.
My older child, because I've got family and friends abroad that I could go to, so that would benefit me greatly. Right. I could be in a better place right now. But it would be detrimental to my eldest, and he's only got a couple more years. So I'm sort of waiting for that. Whereas my daughter is more She does yoga and meditation with me. She always has done since the age of 2. So every morning, she's more open-minded, to the option of moving. So yeah, she would be more likely to be homeschooled and not have an issue with it. Whereas my son is already indoctrinated, basically. And I do find it harder sometimes to get through to him. But it does come out.
Take your time. He's young. There's a big gap in age and experience, and he's still young, and you can nurture him through. So
the point I want to try and make
he
is
just sort of laughed at me. He mocked me.
Fluke, just honestly, mate, Fluke, please, 30 seconds at the most.
Yeah,
promise you. Yeah. Zara, go on, finish off, and then. Are you all right? Are you okay?
Yeah. I think when I was with his father, well, both the kids' fathers, he used to mock me, for my beliefs and things. So I think he's just picked that up that way. And now he's gotten older and started understanding and seeing it come into fruition.
Right.
Then now he's actually, okay, Mum, you're not a nutter. Wow, what's going on? But apparently we're going into another full lockdown quite soon in the north. So
no worries. Yeah. So you've made progress, right? You've made progress a little bit, Mum.
Sorry?
You've just said you've made yeah, no worries. Fluke, I'm sorry, mate, but go on. Cheers, Zara. Honestly, thanks for that. That must have been emotional for you. It was, I could tell.
No,
I don't disagree with Zara, and to a certain degree, I absolutely agree with Zara. But
you can't tell them what to think or what to do.
Yeah, I know. It's really tough, but go on, Fluke, mate.
I'll tell you what will happen, right? When you try to take your children out of the education system, when you try to take your children out of the government system, the government's going to come after you, and they'll send in social services, which is the enforcement arm of the government, right? And they send in the police, the enforcement arm of the government. Because as soon as you try and take your children or any part of yourself, even if you try to take yourself out of the system, they'll come after you, and they'll use social services, the police, and any other government agency they need to put on you to force you into a situation where you can't get out of that situation. That's the whole point of government, because when government can't have control of you, they'll use force against you. They'll use litigation against you, use the courts against you. They'll use everything they can against you. Because what they don't want is people saying, I'm going to take my son, daughter, or whatever out of the education, I'm going to homeschool them. Then you're suddenly a bit of a weirdo. And then they mark you as being a nutcase. Why do they want to take their children out of school? Because everybody goes down that, everyone goes down that thing of, well, with governments, we pay for the system and we pay taxes for the schools and we should send our kids to the school. And then when someone decides I'm not going to take my kids to the school anymore, I'm going to teach them at home, suddenly you're the weirdo. That's how government works. If you go against them in any way whatsoever, they'll turn the tables on you and call you the weirdo. You're out of order. You're fucking psychologically deranged. We'll have to take your children away from you. That's how it works. It's about force, violence, and coercion. That's what it is. That is what
Fluke,
government is.
Can I ask you one question, Fluke?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Have you seen the new legislation that has been swept under the rug, where people can buy your details from the DVLA, from your registration? Now you can actually buy people's medical records from it was supposed to be the 1st of July, and then they delayed it until the 1st of September. And you had to, I previously opted out, in the doctors with the NHS for them to share my details with third parties. And they made out it was just going to be easier if you went to a walk-in centre. They could see all your history. They can see that anyway. So it's a load of Rolex. But I opted out, and now they've made it legal. They can buy for £3.29 your entire medical history. So you could just say, for instance, you were saying to the job centre, oh, I'm depressed. They can look at your medical history for £3 odd and say, well, you've never taken antidepressants.
They can't
This is now the law.
Sarah. No, they can't.
Right.
No.
Also, on top of
No,
that,
they
on
can't.
top of that,
Well,
what's
no,
that
sorry, they
got to
can't
do
see
with the
history, but they
DVLA?
can see
I'm just
your
saying
records.
got nothing
that's
to do
all.
with
I
the
know they
DVLA.
can't. They need a certain form, a certain consent form for you to sign. There's only you can give your medical records up. No one else can force you into giving them up, even though we know people have got them anyway.
It would A, be a GDPR violation for doing that in the first place, and B, what would the DVLA need to do with your medical records? It's nonsensical.
No,
I'm
saying the way that people. So say if you park.
How would I apply to the DVLA to get your medical records?
You can't hear me. The way that
that's what you said.
Fluke, sit back for a minute, mate. I know when you lean forward, you get it.
I'm leaning
Sarah,
back.
go on.
I'm leaning back.
I know.
It's because
You're great,
I'm
mate.
teaching one ear, so I'm sorry. That's why I'm doing this. This is why I do this with the hair all the time.
No, it's fine. Look, no one has to give up their medical history at all. It's got to be your consent and solid.
That was supposed to be an example.
Doesn't matter.
So if I park, honestly, they can get your it's not your medical, it's not your full history. All it is the medication you've ever been prescribed. Honestly,
the DVLA can take your medical history. Are you serious?
What is one of the most? Okay, there's very few things. What is one of the most elite things that is most confidential to you, and that most people cannot get a hold of, even though we know certain people do. People, government above, etc. But no employer.
Can I just correct?
No, anyone like that can, unless without your consent, they can't get anything of your records.
Can I just say to Fluke, because he keeps mishearing me. It was an example. Is when a private company get your reg. See, if I park in the range, like I got a parking ticket from the range because I didn't actually go in there, and they bought my details from the DVLA. It's similar to that. So a third party could now buy your details from the NHS.
That's a violation of your rights under GDPR. They can't do it.
Thank you.
I've done this. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an actual factual example.
They need consent, really.
I'll give you a factual example of what happened, right? I went to a Tesco petrol station and I put some fuel in my car, right? And I went in to pay for it and they wouldn't accept my debit card. And they said, so I went out to the cash machine, tried to draw some cash out of the cash machine. And for some reason, it wouldn't let me draw the cash out. So I went back into the petrol station and said to them, look, I can't get any cash out and this, that and the other. Right. And she said to me, don't worry, it happens all the time. So she wrote me out a form and she said, just fill in your contact details there, my name, address, my telephone number. She goes, as long as you come back within 10 days and pay for the fuel, don't worry about it. I said, okay, great. Yeah. So I went off. The next day, I phoned my bank. We had a problem with the bank and they sorted it all out and no problem. So 2 days later, I went back to the petrol station and I went in and said, explain the situation. I came the other day, I put some fuel in my car and I couldn't pay for it because I wouldn't accept my debit card and blah, blah, blah. We've sorted it all out. Here's the money. And she said, fine, no problem. She tapped it into the computer and they gave me a receipt, right, for the fuel. And I thought to myself, now, normally I wouldn't keep a receipt for 10 quid's worth or 20 quid's worth of fuel. But I thought I better keep that just in case there's a problem. So anyway, I put the receipt in my car And then what I did was about 2 months later, or 3 months later, my brother rang me and sent me a picture on WhatsApp of a notice that came through the door because my car's registered to his address. And it said, some debt collection agency wanted to charge me £75 plus the £10 fee for my the non-payment of the fuel, right? And I was like, well, that can't be right because I paid it, right? So then I thought to myself, well, that's a GDPR violation straight off the bat because Tesco have shared my personal information with a third party without my consent, right? So I phoned Tesco's and I said to them exactly what the situation was. And I said, this is a GDPR violation, right? And I said to the woman, and she said to me, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, you need to escalate this to a manager that knows what GDPR is, right? So she then said, I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, but I'll escalate it. A day later, I got a phone call back from Tesco's from one of the managers, and we had a back and forth and a conversation. I said, look, effectively, what you've done is violated my rights under GDPR, right? You had no right to share my personal information with a third party without my consent. That's a violation of GDPR, right? So, and I've got proof that I paid the fucking overdue fuel bill within the 10 days that you asked me to pay it. So the problem is obviously on your end, not on my end, right? She said, leave it with me. 2 days later, I got a phone call from Tesco's who not only apologized to me for doing what they did, they sent me £500 compensation for it. That's about knowing your rights.
One, because I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break on that one because I've seen comments fly up. Fair enough. Zara is correct in some areas, right? But the bottom line is consent, right? Now, a doctor may disclose information from a patient's medical records without consent if the doctor, i.e. a GP, by the way, reasonably believes the patient may cause imminent and serious harm to themselves, an identifiable individual or a group of people. I'll just leave you with that one for now, and I'll come back soon. Listen, guys, by the way,
Jimmy Riddle myself, mate.
Patiently, you put up in the chat. No worries, Dino. The thing is, just before I nip off, you're a bleeding nightmare for booking. Sometimes you are.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Tyrone, listen, mate. I'm going to bring Burr Britton on. I'm going to let you go off now, mate, Tyrone. Okay.
Dino,
yeah.
What you just said really interests me.
Yeah.
I had to, because with my problems, I was put on some diazepam. So I understand short term, they become addicted, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, when I went to ask for a repeat, the doctor refused me, but the questions he was asking exactly spot on what you were saying. Do you think you're going to harm yourself? Do you think that you may harm other people and everything? And I'm going, what makes you think that? Well, do you think you need only... You just said it, nail on the head. They try to turn it around that maybe I'm a danger to myself or I'm a danger to other people.
The police said it to me. They'd said like words to this effect, like, "Why are you talking like that? Do you think you need some help? You know, with the kind of saying, they're coming under the mental health thing. They're bringing it into it. Do you know what I mean? Give me 2 minutes. I'm sorry, mate. I've really got to go for a.
I'm really sorry if it offends anyone what I'm going to say now, but those words are getting battered about a little bit too freely for my liking lately.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, I'll put you on the
Everything's
antidepressants."
blamed lately on mental health. Everything's mental health this and mental health that,
Yeah.
and it's for me. I'm not playing it down in any and I apologise in advance if I'm offending. Those words for me.
Look at the rise. I'm going to let Ailey speak actually because she's been brilliant. I'm going to go off, but
I'm not butting in.
No, please do. But I think the word mental health has come in far too much lately.
It's just getting back to the battle a little bit too much. I think
it was nothing.
See, they wanted to. Sorry, hey, but it's like you're saying. Okay. They wanted to push antidepressants on me, and I turned around and says, "Well, hang on a minute. Antidepressants are hard to get off as well. So you're denying me a 2 milligram pill just to relax my muscles and everything because I'm unable to move and everything. And since I'm having to lie in this contraption every single night, it isn't comfortable. But you want me to go on antidepressants, which will be harder to wean off in the future." So Dino saying that has made me think, yeah.
Yeah, of course they want you addicted. There's no health in there's no wealth in health. It's all pharmaceutical business again. If you're addicted to them, or they'll put you on one form of medication, which will then cause you another illness, which means you'll have to be on another. It's all about just keeping you there, keeping you in the system, keeping you an entity. And do you know what I'm going back to chat 10 minutes ago, but what I would love to do more than absolutely anything, if only I had a platform to do this, I would just love for everyone to know about this fraud that's been committed on all of us at what Fluke knows all about. And I've been learning a lot about this over the last 18 months, how they and it's happened to anyone that's got a birth certificate. It's happened to us all. Our parents did what they thought was the right thing by registering us at birth. That means they gave us away, basically. We're property of the state. That's what we are. To register your children is to give them away. I've got no children, and to be quite honest, I'm pretty glad I haven't at this moment in time. But what people need to understand is when we're born, the top and bottom of it is how they drag us from law of the land into their law of maritime laws, into the unlawful conversion on us all at birth, from the law of the land into the law of the sea, the maritime laws, basically. They're legalese, and everything's on legalese, and this is how they get us, with trickery of words and the legalese, how they talk in the legalese. For example, that you must wear a mask. Well, must means may. So, same with the people with I'm getting threatened, I'm getting taken to court. No, you've had a summons. That's an invitation, and people just need to understand. I mean, I'm still learning about. There's a lot of people out there that know a hell of a lot more than I do. I've only just got into all this, but it's and you know what? It blows when you learn about all this birth certificate fraud, which is the first thing that you need to. Once you understand that, once you start understanding that, everything else. Thank you, Leah. Everything else starts to make sense going forward. You think you own your car. You don't own your car. You've registered it. The DVLA, even if you've paid for your car, you don't own your car. The DVLA own your car. And I would love more than anything. I don't want any money for it. I would just love to have a platform where I could make people understand this, because the more people know about this, if everyone knew about that, it's game over. It's absolute game over. But people don't know. I didn't know about any of this until 18 months ago, and it blew my head off. When I started learning about all this, it absolutely blew my head off. But, if you look at it and you get all your IDs together and you see how it's all in different configurations, it's because it's a bond on every single one. It's, capitalized on us. They've capitalized on each and every one of us at birth. That's what they've done. And I'm going to be doing a lot of this on my channel, actually. I'm going to be doing a bit of auditing, if that's the right word, but I'm going to be doing a lot of this as well. And I'm going to be doing a lot of, getting this information out there to people as well. And it's not for everyone. Some people think, my own mother thinks I'm a nutcase. I've been called a conspiracy theorist more times than I don't know what, but I will stick by by my beliefs 100%, and that's it, you know. But mum's indoctrinated. She's double jabbed, and she's still brushing her teeth with fluoride, and she's still drinking tap water. So your brain's fried when you're doing all these things. You know, my brain was fried for a long time. I got out of all that and got, you know, changed a lot of things and crazy. Motor taxes, Kingfisher, exactly. All the taxes we pay, they're all illegal. I could go, do you know what? I could talk forever, you know, so unless someone shuts me up, I could go on about this forever and a day. But this is what I really want people to start understanding. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a bit of this on my channel. I'm going to be doing a bit of getting this information out there, you know, to help people to understand. It is mind-blowing, but that's where people need to start. They need to start at the birth certificate fraud, and once you start understanding that, everything else will just make sense.
So you saying about
I'll come up for air now.
Me and Dino were on a live chat last night, and there's this guy called Tony Pope on there, and he was talking about common law, and he hit a subject which I'd really like to ask Fluke, because I don't know enough about this. But he turned around and said, when you're a child, when your parents sign your birth certificate and everything, since you were a child, you can't sign into a contract. So really, that child can sign out and turn around and say, hang on a minute, it wasn't me that signed the contract. It was somebody else who did it for me because I had no choice. So it made me think, hang on a minute. So if that's correct, you can actually question that contract. I don't know. Yes, Fluke, please, if you can explain that to me.
I can't explain it word for word, but what we're talking about is the difference between maritime law and contract law, right? Now, the easiest way of trying to explain it is when you go into a bank and get a loan, right? The bank gives you a piece of paper and you sign it and say, I accept a £1,000 loan from this bank. That's not how contract law works. Contract law in the UK is the same as like leasing a property. So say you want to lease a property to open, say, a garage where you want to fix people's cars. You sign a lease with the landlord and it's witnessed by a solicitor. So there's 3 people involved, right? Why is there not 3 people involved when you go and borrow £1,000 from a bank? There's not. The only person that signs for the £1,000 is you, right? That's fraud. Because under UK contract law, there has to be you, the person lending you the money, and an independent witness to witness you borrowing that money. That's how contract law works, right? That's as simple as that. When we come into the whole maritime birth certificate and all the rest of it, that does come under maritime law and all the rest of it, how they've introduced maritime law into common law and how they've used maritime law to overcome common law. That's how they've used it. So I'm not an aficionado on that, and I don't claim to be an aficionado on that, but that's what they've done. They've used maritime contract law and invaded common law and superseded common law by using contract maritime law. And they've even gone further than that with the banking system, where when you go and borrow £1,000 from the bank, you're the only person that signs the piece of paper. The bank doesn't sign the piece of paper. There's no independent witness that signs that piece of paper to say you borrowed that money. So the only person signing that piece of paper is you, which means it's not contractable. Yeah. Therefore, under law, it should be absolutely null and void.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That because it wasn't the child that signed the contract into the birth certificate, so that actually comes null and void, because the child wasn't able to themselves to actually sign into that contract.
Right. Okay. And it does get very deep in that sense. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with you whatsoever. And to a certain degree, I absolutely do agree with you, because there's no way when you're 6 months old that you can sign a contract with anybody,
Yeah.
let alone whether it's the government or whether it's a bank or whether it's a mortgage company or whatever it is. You absolutely no way in capable. You're absolutely no way capable. So I didn't say incapable. No way capable of legally signing into a contract of any description, whether it be government or otherwise.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't me. It was this guy called.
I agree with you in the sense is that let's not go down. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to go down some sort of rabbit hole that's got nothing to do with our current situation. Our current situation is the current situation, which is the whole COVID, government's taking away our rights left, right, and centre on with absolutely no fucking legal basis whatsoever, right? You can't take away my fundamental human rights to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to protest, freedom to gather and disseminate information. They are fundamentally held human rights under the British Constitution and even in America. The American Constitution came well after the British Constitution. And for those that don't realise on the auditing perspective, from an auditing perspective, right, the freedom of press isn't about having a badge that says you're press, right? That was revoked 325 years ago. And a lot of people don't know this. That was revoked 325 years ago. When prior to that, in 1695, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but what happened was you used to have a license to print anything that went against the crown or against the government of the day, right? You had to have a license to print those stories, right? This was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in the UK that said everybody's got the right, yeah? And that's where the free press came in. The free press was because press machines like to print pamphlets and print literature and print leaflets, right? Nobody could afford. I couldn't afford back in the 1600s to buy a printing press and stick it in my house because you couldn't do it. It was physically impossible, right? So the whole point of a free press was anybody could use a press machine to print whatever pamphlets or information or leaflets they wanted and distribute them to the public, right? That's the whole point of the word free press. It came from a press printing machine. That's where it came from. And that was deregulated 325 years ago. So when you've got a copper on a demonstration going, "You're not real press, where's your press pass?" He's talking out of his bollocks because it was deregulated 325 years ago.
Fluke. That one.
It's all connected though, isn't it? Everything we've just spoke about and all that, what Fluke's saying, it is all connected.
Okay, big riots, printing press machines were destroyed. Uncle Ray Batch, do you want to elaborate on that? Is that a true story? Because that's quite big.
Press machines weren't destroyed; they were liberated. That's the difference that he's getting wrong. They weren't destroyed; they were liberated because
different wording, but yeah, I mean
the people that owned those machines were licensed people that were allowed to promote or print information, but they had to have a license to print that information, right? And that was destroyed by the courts said that you can't do that. You can't have a licensing situation where nobody's got the right to freedom of speech unless they've licensed printing machine. That's where the free press was about free press. Anybody could go and access these machines after that ruling to print whatever pamphlets they wanted. You could say, I disagree with the Queen's right to rule over me, or I disagree with the Parliament's right to rule over me, or whatever. And that's about free press. That's where free press came in, right? This is the same with auditing to a certain degree, because a lot of police officers will say to you, I'm a member of the free press. I'm here to gather and disseminate information. Where's your press pass? There is no such thing as a press pass. We know that. You know that, Dino. You know, there is no such thing as a press pass, right? Because it was dispelled 325 fucking years ago, for fuck's sake. You know, what is the matter with these people? They've only had 325 years to get to grips with this legislation, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but you know, Fluke, as well as anybody, mate, the agenda comes into that. You know that, mate. Listen, just give me a second, guys, because
the agenda is to violate your rights to free press and freedom of expression, and subdue that to such a degree that you feel like you don't have that right to do it, but you do. And we all have that right to do it, you know, and everybody's got the right to do it. And you're only as good as you're only as good as the information you put out. When I do my research, and I've done stuff on Mike's channel and Civil's channel and your channel before, it is the fact that on Dino's channel, is the fact that I research my stuff, because I'm only as good as the information I put out. Because if I put out information that's bad and I get called out on it, I'm going to look like a dickhead, right? So I'm only as good as the information I put out, and that's incumbent on everybody.
Fluke, listen, mate. Listen, Fluke, please, mate. Honestly, exactly. Only as good as the information he puts about, and he does. Listen, I've got to butt in because someone, I think Mickey Mouse, has donated. If I can go back, I'm sorry. Mickey Mouse, thank you so much. I'm trying to find it. There it is, sorry. Yeah, cheers, Mickey Mouse 123. This guy, all he says to me is, "I've got your back," and I know he has. That's all I know. So thanks for that, Mickey Mouse 123. Thumbs up, as you always say on your comments. Massive thumbs up back to you. Thanks so much. A couple of other comments. Chris Brown, I've modded you up because Fluke, mate, please give me a minute. Please, just one more minute. Chris Brown, thanks so much. I've modded you up because on Plodology tonight, earlier, you were brilliant. So yeah, thanks so much. Anyone who's joined, massive thanks so much. Your comments have been superb. I don't think we've had a single troll, to be honest. Great panel. Zara, in fact, Burberry Audits as well has just put a couple of quid in. Mate, that is definitely a good cup of coffee at Costa.
It's not.
You're about 50 pence short, actually, of an Americano with soy milk. Do you know what? Honestly, thanks so much for that. Do you know? I never ask, or I never even say like or subscribe or anything. So when I do get this up, and if Fluke's on, it's so difficult to go, Fluke, please give me a minute, Fluke. But do you know what? These days, the more time we spend together on the lives, right, and we do speak in private before a live, we want it to be right, guys, when we speak. And Fluke's Fluke, and I'm me, and when we do a live, he's my very special guest, and we come to terms with each other when it comes to, if you like, in fact, butting in. Because I feel like I don't want to butt into what Fluke's saying, and sometimes you know, if it's my life, people come in the chat and Fluke respects that, and that's why I love these lives talking to Fluke. So, but anyway, Burbritain audits, you're still there backstage, mate. You're there.
No, I'm here on the panel. I'm here on the panel, bro.
Right, I'll tell you what, guys. Please let Burbritain speak for ever long. Really?
Nah, it's all right, guys. I'm happy to listen. I just come on, really, Dino, because I enjoy your lives, mate. I don't come on enough, and I just want some normal conversation. I've had too many dramas in the last couple of weeks on YouTube. I just want to bring it back and get involved in some good chat, mate, with some good people. That's all. You know?
Yeah, nice
But,
one.
I will say, what Zara was saying. So going back slightly, Zara is actually right, you know, about your medical records being sold. They are being sold to third parties. I can actually get a little bit up here for you where they're talking about it. You had until, I think it was meant to be the end of June. I could be wrong. It might have changed to the end of September, end of August, sorry. But I actually had to go to the GP and opt my children out of this. Otherwise, again, they would have been involved in this. But you know, I'm trying to find it.
It's all right.
Because, yeah, as you say, as far as GDPR is concerned, that is a major, major breach, right? If yeah, they haven't had your consent. However, it was done in a way where it wasn't really publicly put out. I'm trying to find the bloody post now, so do bear with me. Carry on chatting or whatever. I'm just trying to
do
find
it also online, and that's what myself and Maria Moon did. We did it online.
There is another thing that comes in with this GDPR thing, especially when it comes to the DVLA, is there are certain companies that apparently have the authorization, right? This comes down to government again, that have got the authorization to get your information from the DVLA. So say you park in B&Q's parking spot and you stay more than 3 hours, then they can collect your information from the DVLA and try to prosecute you for, you know, a £35 parking ticket for staying over 3 hours in the B&Q parking spot. But it's bullshit. It's got nothing to do with law whatsoever. It's just a threat. It's a threat. We're going to charge you £35 for parking in B&Q for longer than 3 hours, right? Where's the law that says that you can't park in B&Q's? You know, what if your car broke down in B&Q? What if you drove to B&Q and you couldn't load up everything you needed and you had to take another friend came and picked up some more equipment and took that off to your house? And, you know, there's untold reams of stuff that you could use as a reason why you were stood there for more than 3 hours. Now, it still doesn't change the fact that the DVLA are a government agency, and under GDPR, they are a government agency, and they've got no right to share your information with a third party without your consent. That's the law. So it doesn't matter whether A company or B company has got an agreement with the DVLA to try and force you to pay 35 quid for staying more than 3 hours in, you know, B&Q's parking lot, then it's irrelevant, because the law states that the DVLA are a government agency and they can't share your information without your consent. I've looked into this and it is a real massive grey area. Don't get me wrong, it is a massive grey area, and I'm still looking into this, but it still doesn't change the fact that DVLA is a government agency and therefore they're beholden to GDPR regulations. They cannot share your information with a third party without your consent. That's the law. And they can use all sorts of nonsense oh well, we've approved this parking company to take the information. We've approved this. It doesn't matter who you approve. You can approve the nearest gypsy camp to take my fucking private information. Doesn't make it lawful, does it?
No, but okay. I'm just going to read out the little bit that I have found regarding the selling of details. So what this means in practice is that your GP interactions, starting from the time you were born and including many of the most intimate details of your life, are at risk of being indirectly sold to corporations. To be specific, your GP data includes details of physical, mental, and sexual health, drug and alcohol history. Shit, sorry, my screen's gone off. And any family and work-related problems that you thought you had disclosed in confidence. What's worse, your personal information will not be fully anonymous, meaning it is relatively easily identifiable as yours. You can opt out after the 23rd of June, but the NHS Digital holds on to whatever data it has obtained and still makes it available to third parties.
That's why I opted out.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I get that, but it just wasn't. It wasn't really put out there to the public.
It's like the what is that thing where they automatically opt you in for having your organs, removed. If you die in a car accident, they can automatically take your organs if you didn't opt out of the organ transplant thing. So it's incumbent on you as the person to make sure you opt out of that bullshit, so they can't do that stuff, right? And this is the same with the same thing happened with and this is the same thing that's happened with COVID to a certain degree, because you can opt out of this NHS bullshit and not have your stuff shared. So it's incumbent on you to. This is where I don't agree with government. I don't agree with government full stop. But this is where I don't agree with government when they say, if you don't opt out by the 31st of July, then we can share your information. And that it's incumbent on you to opt out of that situation, because that's not the government's position. The government is there to keep your private information private. They hold your private information. So they are a government institution, and therefore they're beholden under GDPR to keep your private information private. It's not down to you to opt out of the situation. It's down to them to make sure they keep it private until they ask you if they can share it, right? But that's how they twist this shit around. They twist it around to go, okay, we're government, so we're going to write on a piece of paper, oh, well, we sign on this piece of paper that you have to tell us that you don't want it shared. Who said that they had the right to do that in the first place? They didn't. They never did have. They haven't got the right to do that. It's incumbent on us to realize that when people do that in so-called positions of power, they're taking power away from you and saying, we're going to assume this power and you have to do what we say, or we're going to share your information.
Would you class an employer as a third party?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
it's stating on here that it's stating on here that a future employer would be a third party.
Right. Let me speak just for a few minutes, right? On that basis.
If you work
my last job before. Please give me a few minutes on that one about the employer thing and the third party, right? My last job, taxpayer's job, in that sense. I've got a couple of medical problems, and one of them, in fact, I didn't disclose them to them because I've had discrimination in the past. Right? So one day at work, this problem occurred and I couldn't carry on at work, and they were saying, "What's wrong?" and all this, and I'm saying, "Oh, it's just a bit of stomach ache and something I've eaten and things like that," which it was, because I've got something called Crohn's disease. So when you eat something, and depends what you eat and all that, it can affect you and all that. And it was something I ate, and it affected me at that day at work, and I couldn't really contribute or produce. And what's wrong? And I had to tell them, because it was like more than stomach ache. So it's not like, it's like, that's not stomach ache. And so I told them, and then I don't care. In fact, I know I won't be careful. One of my subs is a guy who used to work there, so he might listen to this, but the manager of that place, I'm not afraid to say it, said, "Why didn't you tell us about this before?" And I said, "It's because I've had it since I was 22, a long time, and every time I've tried to hold a job, when that's kicked in, they've got rid of me, or they put my hours down." Bit weird. That only happened just after my illness, non-self-inflicted. I didn't ask for it, didn't even know what it were when I got diagnosed with it. I'd never heard of Crohn's. So, and all that happened to me and all that. So I was trying my best and things like that. My weight dropped down, and loads of other complications and that. So can't hold a job, or it's like your hours are cut down, and it's like you're skint, and then you go on to another job, and what do? Do I disclose this? Do I tell them what I've got and things like that? So I went through all these shitty jobs and that, and then I went into Kerr, and then when I went into that job, I disclosed it. I said, "Look, I've got this and I've got that, 2 major illnesses, and but what a better place to work than being in Kerr work, to have people empathise with what I've got, and if anything happens, you're all trained up for it, for what, if anything happens, if I'm at work," and that. All that, I said all this, and the first one, maybe the first job I did in Kerr was like home care. I had something went wrong. I had a seizure. Okay, I'm epileptic, so I had a seizure. It was 13 minutes long. We're doing 37, 40, 45 hours a week. Stupid hours, minimum pay. Okay, tough job. Loved it. All of a sudden, after that, which I told them about at my interview, this is what I've got, you can't loan work if you've got epilepsy. Anyway, I was on my own, left me on my own, and I was looking after an autistic guy, and I had a 13-minute seizure. Okay, and then after that, my hours went down. Discrimination straight away. Okay, and they were saying like, "Well, there's not much work on," and typical bullshit like that. Not much work on in Kerr. So then I moved on from that and went into autism and challenging behaviour and other aspects of Kerr and things like that. Loved the job, you see. That was my job. That's what I wanted to do. I've got in there, I've done it, I've told them everything about me, because I'm going into Kerr, and if you're someone who wants to work in that sector and you've got problems of your own, what a better place to be to work where you can get that empathy of fellow workers. Nah. But yeah, I've been discriminated against. But yeah, just going back to the beginning, sorry. When I came out of that and I went into this job where I didn't disclose my problems, non-inflicted, non-self-inflicted. Something happened at work. Why didn't you tell us about this? Well, because in the past, my hours have gone down. It's kind of been the point where I've had to like, well, not had to, but like, no point carrying on. So I've kind of left and all that. And then the mass thing as well came into it. And then we want to look into your medical records. So we're going back now. I'm sorry for going on, and I said, well, no, I've just come out. I've told you what were wrong. I said it was stomachache. It's more than that. It's this. And she actually said, I'll speak to my solicitor and things like that. And I knew beforehand, without consent, they can get nothing from me. But that was an employer. Okay, so I just left. I had to sign it. They sent me a certain form. I forget the name of it, whatever number and all that, a form. They actually sent me a form. So it was either sign it, like your consent to give all your full, they wanted my full medical history from day one, from 53 years ago. And there were a form I had to sign to give them consent to look into it, for them to keep employing me. Like, shall we employ him? Right. So that's what they were digging for. And do you know what? I did the job quite well. So what does it matter? They needed my consent. They didn't get it, and they got nothing from me. And nobody else stopped me from doing it either. So without my consent, they can't get nothing. And that's just my experience.
I think this is the thing with any company. If you work for, say, Ford or Jaguar or Mercedes-Benz or, BA or whatever, they literally hold your personal information, and they're beholden under GDPR not to disclose it to a third party without your consent. It's as simple as that. It ain't rocket science, and anybody that does is liable under GDPR.
It's voluntary. If you read the small print in some things, it's like it could probably say like it's voluntary, but in the big print, it's like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Underneath it says, well, really, you don't have to, because we need your consent to do so.
Yeah, and without your consent, they can't share it.
Can I say something? It's just so I keep on putting a message into the chat and it isn't coming up. I don't know why. Leah's just put it up. It's all right. I was going to ask for Queen Bee's link. It's just for some reason my chat wasn't coming up. So cool. It's all right. Carry on. Sorry about
that. Yeah, Master. Yeah, and private chat. Sorry, Burr Britain has jumped off without me knowing, probably because I was talking. Sarah, nutrition, suspected of Crohn's. Okay, yeah, okay.
We just subbed.
Right, there's 59 in the chat, guys. It's 10 to 2. I think I'll go on till about 2:30. Max.
Yeah, Queen Bee put something in chat about she was refused treatment in hospital when she's taken into hospital because she wouldn't wear a mask.
I'm still here. I was just about to jump off. I'm still here though.
I understand where you're coming from because I've told Dino, I think Fluke knows this. Back in just before May, I was rushed into hospital and they refused me treatment because I wouldn't have a test. Rushed in the next day for the same problem. They refused me treatment and they refused me treatment because I wouldn't have the test. And on the third day, they still refused it, but I had to have a test because they said, well, if you don't have the test, our option is to put you in a COVID ward. So yeah, a lot of people, when I say this to them, they don't believe that I was refused treatment. But you saying that, that's another person now I know that has been refused treatment unless you complied to what they're saying.
The narrative. Mine wasn't hospital. Sorry. Oh, big up Chris, and also I just want to say thanks to UK Transparency as well, who's also just subbed to me this evening, this morning, should I say? Sorry, Master Ron. Mine was actually just at my local doctor's. I'd gone for my contraceptive pill actually, and I was denied it. Do you know the video of that is actually on my Instagram as well?
Wow.
So, yeah, I think I'm not sure if that's actually on my YouTube because I'm not sure if that was uploaded and taken down for medical information as well. But yeah, basically, I just went along for my contraception, which is actually in the vaccination form, which is the Depo-Provera. And I was refused it, but it was hilarious because I walked into reception. The receptionist never said anything to me, took me details, told me to sit down. She saw me sat there with no mask on. Nothing said. I got called through to Dr. Love. It's all right. I can take banter. Got called through to the nurse's office and or treatment room, whatever. And she was like, "Where's your mask?" And I said, "I'm not wearing one. I don't wear one. Wearing one." And she point blank refused to give me my jab. So I started videoing. Then I started recording. Which obviously it was just me there in the room by myself. I'm not recording anyone else's personal information. And then she walked to the door, walked so close to me to open the door to show me out. I was like, this is hilarious. You can come that close to me to show me your door to walk me out, but you can't give me my jab in my backside. That's where the depot goes. I know it sounds random, but it does actually go in the top of your bum cheek. So you can't make this shit up. So I then went to reception and I started saying, listen, I'll sue her in a personal capacity. If I get pregnant, this is on your end. Like I said, there's a little video that YouTube won't have it. Like I said, they're on me, like they're all over me YouTube already. But it's it's on there. It's only about a 2.5-3 minute video, but it's on my Insta. Again, another one. I've got so many stories to tell. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Haley, you can post them links if you want in this chat.
And I don't know how to do it. I know I sound really illiterate.
No, it's fine.
I will get to grips in the coming days. I will get to grips with all this and what I'm doing.
Right,
now.
no worries. Yeah, no rush.
But at the minute, obviously, I'm still new to it. It's like it took me a week to get onto StreamYard. So seriously, I know. So I Leah has just said to me 5 minutes ago, post any links that I want, and very nice of you. I just don't know how.
It's all right.
So so that's basically what happened to me, and I actually rang the NMC, and I made a case to the NMC. That was May. I'm still waiting to hear back from the NMC, Nursing Midwifery Council. I'm still waiting to hear back from them guys. So they're about as useless as the rest of them, really. They're all complicit. Let's be honest, they're all complicit. I don't trust none of them. The NMC is supposed to be an independent body, but I don't trust none of them. Like Fluke was saying earlier, they all they weren't his exact words, but they all piss in the same pot, basically, which is true. So
Leah, she'll get there later.
I had an appointment. I had an appointment at the hospital the other week, and I thought to myself, well, I started my Streamlabs on my phone, and I kept it in my pocket. So I wasn't physically holding my camera like that, but I had it in my pocket, but it was recording. And I thought, I'm just going to go in there and I'm not going to do anything they tell me to do. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to do it. So I walked in there and I didn't know where I was going. It's quite a big local hospital. And I just said, I need to go to the physiotherapy department. Which one is that? And he said, right. And the guy was behind the reception, wasn't wearing a mask. And I thought, fine, that's my first port of call. So I just bore that in mind. He says, yeah, go down there, do a left, and then on the right, you'll see a little kiosk, and they sell sweets and chocolates and, you know, snacks and newspapers and stuff like that. He said, on the left, he said, that's the physiotherapy. As you walk in, you'll see the reception. Just go to reception. Have you got an appointment? I said, yeah, I've got an appointment. He said, okay, just go there. Tell them what your appointment is, and they'll tell you where to go. And I said, okay, brilliant. So I walked through the whole fucking hospital to this reception desk, physiotherapy department. Guy behind the reception, not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. Nobody asked me to wear a mask. So I said to him, look, I've got an appointment with so-and-so, and at this time, am I in the right place? And he said, yeah, you're fine. He said, just go and take a seat over there. I said, okay, fine, thank you. So I went over there, took a seat. 20 minutes later, physiotherapist comes out, Mr. Fluke, and I'm like, yep. And he's like, right, okay, come with me. He wasn't wearing a mask. I wasn't wearing a mask. We walked into the physiotherapy room. We sat there. We had a conversation. We was in there for about 45 minutes. At no point did he ask me to wear a mask. At no point was he wearing a mask, you know. And, you know, and I spent the whole conversation. We had the whole physio thing and whatever else. And he said, fine, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. I'll email your GP and bring him up to date with what's going on. So I left and I walked out of the hospital. Nobody challenged me about wearing a mask. I walked out of the hospital, everything hunky-dory. So the other day, there was a bit of a problem, for want of a better word. So I had a phone call with my physiotherapist, and I woke up literally with a problem that had no discernible reason. It's not like I whacked my leg against the wall and therefore I've got a problem with it. I just woke up with a problem. So I spoke to my physio and over the phone. It was a pre physiotherapy appointment. It was it's just like a over the phone consultation. And when I explained to him what was going on, he said to me, look, drop everything. You need to go to A&E. I'm writing you a letter now. I'm going to email it to you. I'm going to email it to you to the hospital. You need to go in there immediately, you know. And I was like, why is that? He said, because if it's as bad as what it could be, you'll need to undergo emergency surgery. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he went, yes, I'm fucking serious. And I said, okay. So anyway, he emailed me the letter and he emailed it to the emergency room and whatever. So I ended up having to go there. And I thought, I'm just going to do it again, see if anyone challenges me, because I don't give a shit at the end of the day. So what difference is it going to make? So I went there, I didn't wear a mask, walked up to the reception, gave him the letter, said, this is from my physio. He's recommended that I come here for an emergency referral. That's the word. Sorry, I was looking for the word. Emergency referral to A&E for this particular problem that I can't pronounce because it's all in medical gobbledygook. So here's the letter. You know, I gave him the letter and she went, right, okay, no problem. She goes, what's your name? And and just made sure they had the right, you know, reference number for me and everything else. And take a seat over there. And you know, I was in there for 4 hours in the end, but when it did come to seeing an actual doctor, I got seen within 15 minutes. And she came out, and as soon as I went in there, at no point did anyone ask me to wear a mask, do anything. And at one point, another guy came out of the, you know, you're in the waiting room in the emergency area, if you like. And he came out, asked my name. I said, yeah, that's me. And he said, oh, come into this room. And I went into that room and he goes, oh, we're just going to give you a COVID test. And I said, I don't want a COVID test. He said, oh, and he didn't kind of get the arse ache, but he just sort of looked at me as if I was being uncooperative, if you like. And I said to him, I don't want a COVID test. And he said, oh, is there any reason for that? And I said, yeah, I don't want you sticking anything in my body that I don't want stuck in my body. Is that all right with you? And he went, yeah, that's fine. And I said, okay, can I go now? And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I just got up and walked out, you know, and it was like, how simple can it be? You know, I don't want to do it, and you can't force me to do it. So fuck you. You know, in a polite as I could say it, I said it.
This is why I love Fluke so much, guys. But I'll tell you
I
what,
walked out, sat back-
Burbrick and Audits.
I sat back in
Fluke,
the
for God's
waiting
sake, shut
room.
up for once, will you? For God's sake, man. No, honestly, we do have a floor now on our lives, but I just want Burbrick and Audits to jump in if you want, mate, to say something. You've been patient and you've not had much to say because,
I haven't
as
really.
always, it's just flowing.
Nah, carry on, man. I always enjoy listening to Fluke. He's a very knowledgeable guy.
Me too.
I always learn a lot whenever I listen to Fluke. So
absolutely, man.
Listening, guys.
Well, that's very kind, but I'd also say to you, it's not just, don't just listen to me. You know, do your own research. It's about people drilling down in themselves and using and I do this when I do my research on various other stuff that I've done for Dino, I've done for Mike, I've done for Civil, and other various live streams I've been on, and other stuff that I published as well. And it's about drilling down into the information and using multiple different you know, don't just use Google, use, you know, DuckDuckGo, use this, use that. There's multiple different stuff that you'll get multiple different responses. You know, like you can ask one question in DuckDuckGo and you'll get a different response in another search engine, you know, and you've got to do that research because it's difficult. It's not difficult, it's time consuming, but it's not difficult. But if you do that, you'll start drilling down into, and the more and more you drill down into this type of thing, the more and more answers you'll start getting. So it's not about me being Mr. Intelligent or Mr. Knowing everything, because I don't, you know, but I do try to drill down into everything that I can drill down into, you know, and it's just as simple as that. It's not because I'm Mr. Clever and, you know, or anything like that. It's just do what I do and just try and do as much due diligence as you possibly can. And in this day and age, we're running out of time for doing this type of stuff. So you've got to start doing it. Is my recommendation to everybody.
No, running out of time is spot on. I've said it a few times. Critical point is my wording. It's never never, guys. This is the time.
See, I've been on quite a few live streams and saying what I've got to say, and they turn and say, and I say, well, no. What I'm saying is you want to go and see Fluke on all the channels and everything. You know, he goes on Dino's, he goes on Bastion Radios and everything. I said the guy really does research his stuff. So I may add little bits that I've found out, but most of what I know, what I've heard, has come from Fluke on various streams and Mike West's. I said, that's where most of my information, so I'm just sharing it. So don't think that I'm the one. I said, you know, go and look at Fluke Dog, go and have a look on his channel, you know, follow, and you'll all be able to absorb this information because Fluke, you have got a wealth of information. People need to start listening to people and, you know, open your ears and just take a little bit in. If you take a little bit in, you know, you might get intrigued and you might start looking yourself. And that's what I did. So I'm thinking, oh, right. Okay, then. So I at any time, I cannot knock Fluke for the information that he gives out. And my advice is, like I turned around and said, I was on Bears earlier on. It's not me. It's people like Fluke where I'm getting the information on and I'm just sharing that information, try to get it out to as many people as possible. I said, I don't know hardly any of it, but Fluke knows a hell of a lot more. I just wish I had the time and everything that man has.
Well, when you hear the word researcher, right? Researcher, I think that word's taken for granted sometimes because I say sometimes before I go to a place and film it, I do my research. All I get is little bits of things what I can narrate over a video what might take me 2 hours to clip down to 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. All I do is like tiny bits to make it what I might think could be a decent video. That's it. But when it comes to researching things, going back in time, unlearning everything, starting from the beginning as much as you can, as far back as you can, if you like, that is research and that is Fluke. So the only time Fluke gets on my nerves, right, and he's always welcome on my lives, he knows this, is when he starts fucking repeating himself sometimes. And that's the only time I will come in. When I see Fluke go from this position, like I do all fucking night, I can't sit back. When he goes to this position, I know I can butt in at that point. Listen, guys, do not misread him.
Hang on, 1 second.
See, here he goes again. Hang on, what's he doing this time? No, honestly, guys, come on. We've had a great laugh. I'll tell you what, let's just break it up for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all. Let's go back.
Because I've got to go for a bathroom break. But can I just say
right, when you come back, before you come back, I want you, let's break it up for a minute. It's been great talk. But when you come back, let's talk about that live when the old Crinkle guy came on last time.
That was so fun.
If we can do 5 minutes of that, then
that'd be fucking great.
Yeah, I'm going for a piss at the same time. Actually,
just before we go, for a second, I don't want people to think that I'm kind of some super intelligent bloke that knows how to do all of this stuff, because it's not that hard, right? It just takes a bit of due diligence and a bit of time and a bit of cross-referencing. And I'm actually going to do a video on this on probably on Odyssey, because it won't ever get shown on YouTube. So I'll probably do it on my Odyssey channel about how you can cross-reference this stuff and how to do it, and how to sort of chop between different internet locations to find out the information, how to go on to various companies' websites and find out the information, how to go into who funds these companies, how they're funded, and who's funding them, And again, it's just a follow the money exercise to a certain degree, because money talks and bullshit walks. Remember that. And anybody with any fucking investigative journalism balls in their fucking head will always tell you, follow the money. It's not all about money, don't get me wrong, but money buys influence, and it buys, power, and it buys politicians, it buys everything else, So money is an essence of that stuff, but it isn't just the reason for it, because there's a bigger essence to that. It's the influence and the power that you can gain from that monetary perspective is what you're looking for when you're researching.
So may I interrupt and ask you a question?
Yeah, you can, because Fluke's going for a pee and I'm dying for one as well. But just before Zara, one sec, UK critical thinking. That's it.
So I'm 9
right,
years.
Go on, Zara, go for it. I'm going for a break.
I'm sorry, I've got terrible lag. I'm 9 years into this research now, so everything you're talking about, I am aware of. I did have to take a step back because I felt like I was getting mentally overwhelmed. Have you ever felt that way? And number two, have you ever heard of Harold Kurtzfeller?
Your first question, do I get overwhelmed by it? No, because for me, it's like I'm like a rat up a drain pipe. When I get involved with something that I need to research, I don't let go of it, because I know there's something to be found out, and I won't let it go. So it doesn't bother me in that sense. You know, I'll just keep going and keep going and keep going. And if it leads nowhere, it leads
Did you
nowhere.
not switch? Did you not feel the need to switch off? Like, because you've got children, like, I felt like it overwhelmed me and I just couldn't stop. Once I'm researching, I cannot stop. And I needed to find a balance.
I don't stop in the sense that I'm not going to stop until I find out what I need to find out. And if I can't find out what I'm going to need to find out, I'll keep going until I do find it out. It's as simple as that. You know, because the evidence is there, and the facts are there. It's just how we go about finding that. And if I can't find it,
I think the real thing then,
I might take.
Do you not feel frustrated?
I might take a break at 2 o'clock in the morning and think, God, I've had enough for one day, you know, and I'll go to bed, and I'll wake up the next morning, have a cup of tea, and think, right, let's start again. Where did I go wrong? Did I go wrong in my research? Did I not look at the right pattern? Did I not look at the right, you know, the ladder, or did I not look at the right branches of where this goes and where that goes and where that goes? And I sort of kind of refresh myself to a certain degree to sort of think, well, did I do this in the right manner? Did I look at the right people? Did I look at the right institutions? Did I look at the right companies? And start again? Because sometimes you can go down a bit of a rabbit hole, and I've made this mistake quite a few times myself, where I go down one rabbit hole and just keep rabbit holing it and rabbit holing it and rabbit holing it and getting nowhere. Whereas when the next day I go back and start again and think to yourself, right, just center yourself and start again, and then go, right, well, that's where you went wrong, you know, so now you need to look at that, because that was what you missed. You missed that piece of information that leads to that company or that influencer or that trust that funds this type of research or that type of research. And I also use a lot of other people's research as well to guide me, and people that I genuinely trust and genuinely believe in, and I use a lot of their research, and I trust all, and I only trust people that always put links into everything that they publish. So if you're going to do something, you've got to be able to trust what you're doing and publish all the links that you've used to come to that conclusion.
As if you were writing a book.
It just gives people, like when I did, I was talking earlier about eugenics and stuff like that. And I follow a young lady called Whitney Webb, who's a super intelligent, brilliant independent journalist and brilliant researcher. I know who she is, yeah. And everything she does, she publishes every link to every piece of her research, so that you can go and research her research. And that's
see the original source.
You know, an honest journalist, when they print their own sources to say, look, this is where I got this information, go and find out for it for yourself. You know, go and look into what I've researched, and you can just, you know, kind of research it for yourself, you know. And I do that. I do go through her stuff, and I go through James Corbett's stuff, and I research all their links, and I go, right, okay, can I find anything else that might be even more beneficial? Or can I find something that doesn't add up, you know? And invariably, I can't find things that don't add up, but I can generally find that I can link everything they've said and link it to all my own research and think, right, I've done a good job. And I know that I'm confident to put that information out.
Have you heard of Harold Kurtzfeller? Do you remember Miles Johnson was sacked from the BBC for doing bases?
Who was that?
Have you ever heard of him? Miles Johnson. So he's an extremely old, I'm not sure whether he was a producer or a director. I think he was a producer. And the BBC used him for over 60 years, freelancing. And once he started going into UFO things, he started a channel called Bases.
I kind of don't really...
That was a whole different field, but he's gone into... That has diverged into speaking to doctors and different technologies and things like that.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I've looked at over the years, and I think don't get me wrong. My research goes back 10 years, so there's not anything I haven't looked at. Whether it's the Federal Reserve, the monetary system, the banking system, the political system, you know, I've gone through all of that, and I've got a friend of mine who was actually a brilliant UFO researcher. And he was the very first person that turned me onto the whole banking system in the first place. And that's what got me started in this. So it wasn't necessarily a guy that was into finance that turned me onto the corrupt system of the financial system. It was actually a guy in UFOs that turned me onto the financial system. And he said to me, "You're looking at it the wrong way up." And I said to him, "What do you mean I'm looking at it the wrong way up?" He said, "Because you're looking at it from politicians down here, you know, and then trying to feed your way up to the prime minister, if you like." He said, "But really what you need to look at is the fact that who drives the money? Because without the money, nothing else fucking exists. So you need to look at the monetary
And who invented
system.
the money? Who invented the education system was the Rothschild.
And that's how he got me into the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the, you know, all those types of families that and when I started looking at it from the top down, it started to all fall into place. And he was absolutely right telling me what he said. And I didn't agree with him to a certain degree because I wasn't really into the whole UFO stuff. And don't get me wrong, if the UFOs are true, then great. You know, if there's little green men running around doing stupid things, then great. At least we know about it, you know. But that wasn't the point. The point that I was trying to look at was what was happening on the ground. On the ground. I don't care what's floating around up in
this
space.
is what I meant. This is why this fella is just a scientist.
It was just odd that the fact that a UFO guy got me into the financial system, and that's where I started.
Exactly.
And that was,
I had exactly the same experience.
11.
No, go on. Sarah, go on, Sarah.
No, honestly, I just think with everything that's happening now, this one lecture, it's 2 hours, 20 minutes or something, might seem a bit long for you, and it's very scientific, but it literally changed my life. I could not turn back. I was changed as a person. You know, when something changes, like you feel like inside, you realise who you are as a person. I just let go of all ego and all material things, and everything just sort of made sense. But now he's a scientist.
Can I make one point which is really important, and it's especially if you're going to try and research or do anything of this nature, is you've got
I've done it for 9 years.
Yeah. I always sit back and I can watch a video and think it has a profound effect on me. And then what I do is I generally shut the laptop, or not shut the laptop down, but I just close the window and I sit back and I think to myself, how does that have a relationship to what I'm trying to do and what I'm thinking about? And how does it make any sense? Does it have any relevance to what I'm trying to? Does it have any relevance to my current predicament? Because my current predicament, as is everybody's predicament on the planet at the moment, is your freedoms, your rights, and everything are being violated on a daily basis by every politician on every country, and every fucking left, right, and centre. It doesn't matter what politicians.
This is the nature of history. This has always happened.
I'm thinking to myself, right? Do I really have to worry about little green men in flying ships? No, I don't. I need to worry about.
No, he's not about aliens. He's a scientist.
Yeah, but you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, and you've got to take everything.
No, I do take a step back, and I do practice critical thinking. I'm not an ignoramus.
In the concept of what
a sheep.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that you've got to take it in the concept of how does this affect what's fundamentally affecting my fundamental
life
right today.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I please, guys, can I just come in just for 1 sec, guys, please? Can I just split in there between you?
In the description, and I'll take a look at it. Definitely. because I love new information.
Definitely.
So if you
I'll
want to
put it in the private.
You will never
before you-
stop him
Sorry,
working,
sorry.
Zara. I can promise you that. No matter what you come out
I
with,
know.
you will look into it. I will promise you that. It will take either 1 minute
Somebody put
or
on the comments
100
before.
million hours. Right,
Well,
UFOs.
that's yesterday's. That's yesterday's work. That took me 6 hours.
You don't
That
have
was the
to.
day before.
I'm so glad.
Fluke,
That took me 7
Fluke.
hours. And then this is the other one, which is about the eugenics stuff.
I think we all believe you.
He's bragging now.
9 hours.
This is what all he's doing now. He's bragging, right, guys? We know. Come on, guys. We know
I've got
when
a shopping
Fluke's on
list.
alive
That's
and when he
about it.
speaks. He
And none of that's
speaks.
even
We
finished
know
yet.
that. He's still
None of that's
papping
even
on.
finished yet.
Can I frigging butt in for 1 minute, Fluke?
Yeah, because I
Right.
need to go for Jimmy Riddle.
When he sits forward. When you were going for a piss about frigging half an hour ago.
Yeah, but you
Yeah, but
left,
he's gotta
so I had to
wait
stay
for his
on.
Yeah, but
to
I went for a piss. You didn't.
Because
Right.
you buggered off and I was left holding the fort.
No, listen. It was UFOs.
You both
Zara,
rubbish. I did it
UFOs,
live.
right? Okay, I'm interested. UFOs.
Oh no, that's I'm interested, but like he says, you take a step back, and it's what's affecting us now. I just think that it's an obviousness, just statistically, so that we are not the only life force. And if you look even back to the Sumerian times, it's always been stated. So now they've used that control to hide something from us. Now the control is fear. They've actually pinned it down and, defined it. And now they're using fear as a control. So much so, people were scared to come out of their own homes. And they're wearing stupid pieces of cloth on their face, looking like absolute idiots. And then the second Boris Johnson says on TV, who listens to that waffle? Come on. But the second, I was absolutely, everybody hated me in the playground because I refused to wear a mask. Oh, the day that Bojo goes on TV and says, oh, you don't have to wear one. They're all walking around, coughing on each other now. Oh, it's okay, it's acceptable. I'm like, you idiots. I just want to poke them all in the face. I actually wore a full face sheet mask instead of a mask when they complained. My daughter was mortified. But I just think it all does slip into one because it all comes into control. I think that they're hiding from us how powerful we are. If you take love into your heart and you really stop and think about what I want as a human being, and if you give out love and you portray love to everybody, we can change the world in small bits, and that will have a knock-on effect. And they are taking that away and drilling us down with fear. And it all comes down to that. We're more powerful and they want to hide that from us. But that's just me ranting on. Anyway.
No, Zara, honestly, that was great. Even Fluke's clip. Do you know what I mean? That was fantastic, what you just said.
Shut the fuck. Shut up.
Honestly, thank you.
You can't tell. Well, thanks
Do you know
anyway.
before you came on, I mean, the first time I met you on a live, it was a bit controversial. And then you came on again and again. And to know you're like a different person. I mean.
No, I'm just being me. But I think I had I was a little bit distracted, with things.
Yeah, that
let's say.
Channel.
Can I make a point about the live streams as well? Because they're difficult things to. It never bothered me because being an auditor, I didn't give a fuck about being in front of a camera or anything, whether it's in camera in front of my house or a camera in front of the local military base or whatever. It doesn't bother me, and I've always been to a certain degree, a social commentator, or I've always had, a very sharp opinion about what goes on in the world, and so it doesn't bother me to a certain degree. I'm going to any live stream, whether it's an auditing live stream or whether it's something to do with the current situation, whether it was something to do with government or the financial system, whatever it is. I've never had a problem with that. So it's easy for me personally because I don't have a problem with it. But it's also very difficult for somebody like yourself. Maybe 2 or 3 live streams ago, you came on, you kind of weren't very confident of yourself, or maybe you didn't know what to say, and then somebody said something. Maybe somebody.
Right, a very quick one. Extremely quick. This is an extremely quick interjection. Extremely quick. Listen, I'll put this one up. It's very quick. I want Fluke to carry on where he left off. Listen, that name, Buzz, I'll not entertain it on my lives anymore. Forget it. Leave it out. If not, I've got Leah, etc., and you'll be gotten rid of. Forget that. We're not here for that. All right? See you later. Bye. Sorry, Fluke.
Too much time, that the people like that bringing that shit up. Yeah,
exactly.
Leave it. Sorry, Fluke, mate. Sorry about that. I had to interject there about that.
No, that's all right, mate. All I was going to say was let's not be distracted by that, because that's what that's there for. It's there to distract us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we'll crack on right now.
That's the nature.
Can anyone tell me?
And a lot of
Mags, Maggie, how are you doing? I'm sorry, I do this from time to time, but Mags, Maggie, and Mickey Mouse, Claire Redwood, Spiky Mike, Octopus, Messenger, Grandad's Jukebox, Leah M, blah blah blah. Right, thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Is there any chance I can hear this story about Crinkle?
Can I just leave this thing I would say with Cesara, because I've got to go for a mini riddle.
You mentioned Crinkle.
And what I always say is it's not the first time that's happened on a live
Luke,
stream.
I want to be at your kitchen table right now. We would not sleep for days. People want to come on a live stream and they're very new to it and they don't know what to say, and then they hear loads of new stuff that they didn't have information like that before, and then they're confused and they don't know. I think, oh crap, I didn't know that, and Master Ron said this, and Dino said that, and Fluke said this, and I didn't hear any of that, and I didn't know anything about that, and you kind of, it's easy to get confused. So don't feel like that. This is a learning curve for all of us, myself included. Listen, honestly, I have been looking at this stuff on my own for so long that now I feel like I found somebody that understands.
A link to something, and I thought to myself, I'd never heard of that, and I copied and pasted the link and saved it to my computer, and then I went back to it the next day, and it opened a whole new corridor about who's financing all of this, and I'd never heard of it before. I've got about at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies now to look into off the back of that link that was shared on a live stream that I've now got to look into, because without that information,
Fluke,
if I impart that information,
I would mash your head up, because I've got so much information. I don't want to go and delve into too much about what my job is, but financial background.
You two guys need to get in touch.
we need to get a bottle of whiskey and sit on a table and just put the world to rights, literally.
This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, this is super. Because Master Ron's on the same level as well. It's brilliant. What a great panel.
Master Ron,
this is what needs to happen is people like us need to get together, whether it's on a live stream or whether it's personal, whatever it is. But if we don't get together and exchange
it'd be so influential if you stop talking.
What we're going to end up with is a situation where we end up down an echo chamber by the mainstream media that just tells us what information they want to tell us, not the information we want to find out.
If you choose to watch that, Rolex, it's your choice. Switch it off. And I have not watched this for 7 years. Like, why would I? But
Yeah,
sorry.
Superb, guys. What a great conversation. I'll tell you what, let's give Master on. Come on, mate. You have your full 20, half an hour, whatever you go on, like 5 minutes or whatever.
Well, I'll put it this way, because I'd like to hear Bear say something, but Zara, whatever you was just about to say about apologising, no need to. That's it. Nobody ever
She's
has
been
to
absolutely great tonight. I shit myself, actually. She was there backstage, dead patient, and I thought, first time she came on my live, she really kicked off.
Like,
and it was like this and that. And I thought, do you know what? She's been there a few times now. And she's been, honestly, Sarah, tonight, you've been absolutely superb. Honestly, thank you so much. You and Fluke, you're getting on like this, which is brilliant. We're spreading the word.
And do you know what? You can't push it down people's necks. If they don't want to hear it, they're not ready. The heart isn't open yet. So
we have to keep saying it, though, right?
Oh, of course. The only way you can learn is to teach the younger generation. My children are fully aware. She told a teacher his heart chakra felt bad. She needed to go up to the room. She's 8. She's like,
okay.
What was his reaction? She said, he let me go outside for 10 minutes. Master Ron, honestly, I apologise for previously, and I want to be me now and just let people know, because I read previous messages that said, I've already blocked him and stuff like that. And I thought, Jesus, how did you come across? So, I just want to be me.
You don't have to apologise to me for nothing. This is Dino's thing. You don't have to apologise to me for anything. And also,
bless you, thank you.
That's all right. I like to hear what Bear's got to say, because he's interested in Crinkle. He's interested in Crinkle.
No, I'm not interested. No. Let's not get that misconstrued. I'm not interested in Crinkle. I just heard Dino say something about Crinkle on a live, and I find with Crinkle, the only time he seems to want to jump on a live is when he wants to interrupt the conversation, the flow of the conversation. So I was just wondering if, like, he actually put any decent input into your live, Dino, really.
No,
he did actually. Quite a lot of decent input. On his level, his input on that level of talking or trying to talk bloody stuff, nowhere. And Fluke, myself, and Mike, and a few others have just like. Anyway, as a comedian, I give him many chances, but that night when I think he fell asleep, because backstage, as you know, when you do a live, no one else sees it, but I saw this cat and it was like, anyway, so every time we spoke, it mimicked on his stream. And he must have had this voice machine going on, and he had it at a higher pitch. So when we said, "How you doing, Crinkle? Are you all right?" All I had to do was press add to stream, and he went, "How you doing, Crinkle? Are you all right?" And that went on for about a good hour. And we were saying loads of shit like, "Crinkle, everything you do, load of shit." And it just kept repeating. It was so funny. Fluke shared it. But yeah, he's a complete, I don't know. I gave him a chance to speak, and he went, in fact, it was a live before the one he came on where he went, yeah, I'll let Fluke speak. And he didn't. But the one previous, I brought him on. He went, I said, next time, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll get you and Fluke on, just you two. I'll let you talk it out. No one else, you two. Let's talk it out, type of thing. So it came to that next live, and then Crinkle came on, give him his Fluke actually waited. I spoke to Fluke before the live, and I said, "What do you reckon? 10:30, whatever?" And we're going, "Yeah." And he actually waited till about 11:30. I could just imagine Fluke talking all this and laughing his fucking dick off, right? And then Crinkle comes on, he has his spiel and things like that. Fluke destroyed him as always. And then he fell asleep.
You know what, mate?
But then I said, right, Fluke's coming on now. And he went, yeah, I'll mute myself. I'll go in the background. I'll not say nothing. Like you said, we'll let him speak. And then you can come back in and have your say. That didn't happen because as soon as Fluke came on, right, he went, yep, and pissed everyone off before he even said a word. So I fucked him off from that point. And then after that, he fell asleep and we just mocked him.
But Christ, I tell you what, I'd love to know how you get him to fall asleep on your stream. Might have to try that sometime. It doesn't go away. Like even when you put him out the back, when you put him backstage, it just doesn't go away. I mean, I'd love for him to fall asleep on my stream. It's great.
Kick him out. Do what Dino did. Kick him out, and then when he does fall asleep, just do what Dino did. Bring him back, and we'll just fuck around. You know what I mean? It's easy to do. You know,
he was probably the only person that night who fell asleep to my live stream, so it couldn't have been that boring, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's like a lullaby.
Well, that was fun. I mean, look at Fluke's face right now. I said it before. I don't think Fluke heard me. I said it on Plods earlier. Plodology. I said, I brought it up and I said, you will never see Fluke laugh as much as that night. And just watch it back.
The thing with that was that it was so brilliant in the fact that I think you can just make people look so stupid by how much you laugh at them, you know, and that's what we need to do to our politicians and all these people that are coming out with this utter bollocks over the last 18 months is laugh at them, ridicule these people, make them look stupid, because that's the best antidote than trying to give people truth. Do you know what I mean? Make them look stupid, laugh at them. Because that's what they deserve. They deserve.
Believe this or not, Fluke, right? He's not even come backstage tonight or earlier on. He's not even done that. That is a first for me in the last month.
I'm probably telling you to get a few phone calls tonight before 3 a.m. You
know, not as many as you have got, mate.
No, I meant I will.
How did I meet you? How did I miss this guy?
Yeah.
He sounds brilliant. Wonderful. What does he talk about?
Crinkle, we'll put it this way. The first thing he really, some people annoy me, but he really pissed me off because he turned around and said, that
how did he do it? It
comes on, when Fluke comes on, because Dino wanted to kick him off, but Dino, he's such a nice geezer. He thought, okay, then you stay muted, let Fluke come on, right? And he said he would. Now, as soon as Fluke come on and started talking, that guy did something really disgusting, and the words come out of his mouth was, oh, by the way, have you heard that Pap's dead and he died of coronavirus? And I thought, what, are you trying to fucking score brownie points or something? Is that what you've been waiting for, to actually say that straight away? The guy is scum. Total scum. I will never, ever speak to the guy again unless I turn around and tell him that he's a piece of scum. And I will leave the chat.
Caps, but if he was
he's not even come backstage, and I'll tell you, Sarah, honestly, I'll give you a minute, but he's not even come backstage, which I definitely kind of expected him to. But the fact that he hasn't, I'm going off the last one we did with him. That's why he's not.
Mhm.
But, yeah, he'll never get on again. I promise that on my last live. He fucked up straight away. I said, you fucked up straight
I was
away.
about to say.
You're not getting back on. He didn't that night. He's not going to get on again.
Well, I've seen Leah's put a link up.
To that video in the comments.
Yeah, I'll have
section
to go
there.
back and watch it.
So go back and watch it. It's hilarious, man.
I will.
What date?
Honestly,
What date was that?
I tell you what, I've been so serious for 18 months, especially, trying to drill down into all of this. And I've never laughed so much on a live stream in my fucking life. It was brilliant. It was hilarious. Dino, I don't know how you do that stuff with the voice thing.
He fell asleep and he must have left all his devices on. So, when he does all those voice changes and shit like that, he left it on that one frequency, if you like. So he fell asleep and all I had to do was click add to stream. So when we said, Crinkle, you're a fucking wet. No, that's what he said. That's what he said it like. When we said, Crinkle, you're just a fucking wanker. He went, and I went, add to stream. And then he went, Crinkle, you're a fucking wanker. And that's how it was for ages.
Honestly, mate.
Crinkle, you're a fucking shill, you're a fucking troll, what you fucking hanging around for? It was absolutely superb.
I went to bed laughing my pants off that night.
I had so much fun with that.
I just couldn't stop laughing.
I'll wager you this, right? I've not seen all of Fluke's vids, right, or what he's been on, but I promise you, well, I don't promise you, but come back to me and say, Fluke, if you ever see Fluke laughing more than what he did that night beforehand, please show me that vid, because...
Don't bother looking because you never see it.
It was class, guys. Check it out. Not on my channel, on Fluke's, because mine's too long that live.
I did
he clipped it down.
Now. I think it's about 20 minutes long. It's on my channel. It's the last video I put up. But
I'll look at it.
I just couldn't.
Honestly, just watch it.
I just couldn't stop laughing. I was crying with laughter. It was that good.
I love that. That's what we all
I
need in our life.
Yeah,
just smash ourselves to this hell. We all need to belly laugh. We need belly laughter.
When you come across people like this, you need to laugh at them. You need to humiliate them. The best way to humiliate someone is to laugh at them. I think
you come across somebody in your local shop and they tell you what different jobs they've had, and I just burst out laughing.
With his voice, it was just. I couldn't get enough of it, mate.
I have no idea.
I did one where I said, "Oh, Fluke Dog's the most amazing guy ever," and you put his voice.
I had no idea, honestly. He'd just gone off, and you must have said that, whoever. And he'd gone off stream, so I clicked add to stream, and that happened. So he didn't come back on stream, so he was still there backstage, and then something was said again. So I might have said, "Do you want to answer that?" Clicked add to stream, and it just repeated what we said for some strange reason. That's all I did.
That's probably the reason why he didn't come on tonight, because he knew he'd be absolutely torn to bits. Because
exactly the next morning would be the best thing. Imagine being able to see his face when he woke up. See, that's my sense of humour. A certain person put a video up not long ago of the police calling him. That was me. I think it's funny to do voices and to do prank calls.
If you feel down, go onto that video. If you feel down, go over to that video and that will perk you up.
Joe, I'll put that on screen. There's the link from Joe Black, by the way, massive respect. Much love to you, mate. Thanks for what you've done for me. I've actually sold one T-shirt, but thanks to you, Joe. Cheers.
Oh.
Mickey Mouse is still for anyone who's joined. I think GB Auditor's in there, guys.
Yeah, he's in there.
Somewhere.
I don't know any of these people.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Your videos, top class. Superb channel. If you're looking for a bit, okay, this is off subject. I'll just answer it quickly. It's not that off subject, is it? You can hear it. You might not get the first part of that little paragraph, but the thing is, lately I'm doing abandoned buildings, so it coincides with Crinkle, which is that person we've just been talking about. So that's why it's so funny to me. But that is superb, honestly. Thank you.
It might have something to do with his abandoned washing that's always in the background.
I know. What is with that washing, though? It's all the way to the bloody ceiling.
It's all an act. You know this.
None of your business is going to put it on his channel.
What's the washing business?
Crinkle. In fact, Fluke, you explain, Fluke. You know.
Oh God.
Better than us. I'll take a quick break while you do that, Fluke, because I know you're going to be bloody ages.
No, I'll do it quickly if you want.
Yeah, right.
So this guy looks like this, right? He's got his baseball cap on backwards. He's got his sunglasses on, and he's got a pile of washing behind him.
It's Crinkle. It's Crinkle.
And it's Crinkle.
Do you know what you look like? The fucker right in the pussy guy.
I could try and put some washing. Here you go. Here's some washing for you. And this is what Crinkle looks like on his live stream.
It's you! You fooled us all along, Fluke. How the fuck do you do that? 2 screens at once, one voice machine, one going off screen, falling asleep while at the same time talking to us on another screen. You're the fucking double, mate. You are Crinkle. There you go, guys, exposed.
The horrifying part of it is that I have come across another one that listens to the mainstream media, and I've actually come across another one of that. So beware.
There's a ton of them out there, mate. Like they can't leave it alone. They kind of can't critically think for themselves, and these are the people that we're going to have a problem with. You know, they're the people that, the BBC said so, and the ITV said so, and Channel 4 said so, so it must be true. You know, those kind of idiots. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've got half of my family are like that. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible, and I half of my family I don't even talk to because it's pointless talking to them because they can't get to grips with the fact that they're being, brainwashed into thinking whatever the government wants to think about them. And the funny thing is, as well, is if you go to 100 people tomorrow, regardless of COVID or whatever, and you said to 100 people in the street, do you trust politicians? 100% of those people will probably turn around and say to you, no, I don't trust politicians. But then we're in a situation where you've got almost 100% of people trusting whatever politicians are saying. How fucking mental do you have to be to live mentally in that state? That you would not believe them, but when they come out with all this nonsense, that you're going to believe what they're saying. It's just crap. It's just it's a mental state. It's not. It's not even. I don't know how people get their head around it. I really don't.
Cognitive behavioural therapy, isn't it?
Cognitive
I got on a train for the first time. 20 years. I've never been on a train, and I have never ever seen before in my entire life. It annoys me at restaurants when people are sitting opposite each other in their presence, in the present moment, and they're on their phones. What is the point of that person being there?
I hate that.
But when I was on the train, I've never seen. I saw mums with babies and prams, and they're staring at the phone with a mask on. chance has that baby got? Like,
I even did this with my ex-girlfriend. Me and my ex-girlfriend, we used to go out for. I used to live in Brighton at the time, so we used to go out to restaurants and little bars and bit of finger food and blah blah blah. And I used to say to her, "That's it. We're leaving our phones at home. That's it. We're not going anywhere until we leave our phones at home." And so we leave our phones at home, and we'd go out and sit in there was like a little bar that we used to go to, which is great because then you used to like just deliver you a little basket of like finger food and a couple of drinks and whatever. Sit there and we used to just talk and talk and talk and have a laugh and blah blah blah. And because the phones weren't there, you weren't sitting there like a couple of fucking droids looking at your fucking phones, and we would just sit there and talk all night long, and we just have such a great conversation. And if everybody kind of did that and just left everything to one side and just talk to each other mano a mano, as it were, and it did that, then we'd probably come on in leaps and bounds as a human
behave
race.
like human beings again. I honestly think, Dino, that you should, all your followers, arrange somewhere, someplace, and it's optional. If you want to come and meet this time, this date, one afternoon, then you're very welcome to, and you're all like-minded. It's a safe space, as they say. It's a community, and if you want to come, you do, and if you don't, you don't. I don't think you'll ever regret it.
That's fine. I've met many YouTubers along the way. Many people when I've been involved with YouTube, like for quite a few months now. I love it. I enjoy it. I do as much as I can. It's been superb tonight. I said 2:30. I'll go till 3 a.m, guys. And that is it for tonight. I don't normally do spontaneous lives like this. It's a Wednesday. For me, it's normally Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday, I think, will be epic. Fluke, I know for a fact, will be on, and quite a few others as well. So I'll end it at 3. So we've got like 8 minutes. Do you want to finish off and just say your little piece before we go?
Who, me?
Everyone.
What about Bear Britain? I've not heard him. Oh, sorry, Master Rod.
Yeah, that's true.
He's been there for a while, patient. So anyone, Luke, 3 a.m, that's it, 7 minutes. So if you want to finish off and say a little piece and then...
Well, no, let Master Ron go first, and maybe the young lady, and then somebody else, and I'll go last. How's that?
Of course.
So okay, then I've been put in a position. What have I got to do?
Just say good night, basically, and what your final thoughts are, because I'm going to end it.
Okay then. Yeah. I was looking at chat. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I would say what I do, and that is, if you can spread information and get people to open their minds, you may be in a room of people, like I said before. I was in a hospital room. They were sort of trapped, you know what I mean? But, that wasn't my problem. I was there also. But bringing conversations and what have you, and you may just have one that listens to you, and that one person may speak to another group of people and one person out of that group of people, and just sort of make them think and make them look and listen. Use your ears. That's all I can really say, because that's all I do, is I go onto different streams. I might make one person think, oh, this guy may have something in what he's saying. So, and I always mention other people's channels. Yours, Dino, Fluke, Mike, Bastion Radio, all these other places where they could go to, listen to other people, and, you know, because that's what I said when I was in hospital. I said, well, I watched Bastion Radio. Mike West, he has Fluke on there, which is a wealth of information because he actually does research. I said, Dino's channel I go on to, he's another person you can go on, and certain people join that panel with a wealth of information. They do research, and that's what I was talking about while I was in hospital. I thought, well, one person, and like I said, when I turned around and said I didn't accept to take the last time I was in, I'm not going to have the test and everything. This guy put up his mask straight away. But as I was talking to the guy in the bed beside me, that mask was down below his chin. So maybe he thought, this guy might have a little bit of he's talking a little bit of sense, using a little bit of logic. So that's what I advise anybody else to do. You know, bugger it. That's me.
Well said. Bit of logic.
That.
Well done there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just probably echo that and say, like, if anyone's been listening to you guys today, this evening, and doesn't agree with anything you say, or they kind of think, I'm not too sure about that, I would say just go and do your own research. Take a little bit more time out, do your own research, and just remember that all this information is actually there to be found. It's there. It's not, it's not secret. It's just not there the minute you open your browser. You have to do a bit of searching, but it is there. It's there to be found,
Yeah. Absolutely, Matt.
Is it really?
Well said. Yeah. Yeah, cheers. Bear Britain, thanks, mate. Honestly, thanks for coming in. Thanks for being patient beforehand. No, honestly, mate.
Thank you for having me on.
Done. Bear Britain's channel link, I know it's been up there before, but I'm pretty sure it will go up there quite soon before we go. So, Zara, before, do you want to say something before we go? Just a last little goodbye and what you think to end it for tonight. Come back on Friday if you want.
I just think, thank you. I see how I feel. I'm only just, as you've probably heard me sputtering, just getting better, so we'll see.
You've been brilliant, by the way.
Shut up, stop saying that, please. No good at that. Just
She's blushing.
Shut up. But no, I just think everyone that's listened has felt the love, and you can only kill the fear mongering that they're pushing out with just little tiny bits of love every day. Just keep doing that. Just laugh at them, as you say, Fluke, and keep pushing the love and be more kind and more friendly, and keep doing that.
Here.
Well said. Absolutely. I felt that. Beautiful, Sarah. Beautiful. Right. Fluke, I think we should end it with you, mate, and then I'll say good morning in Britain, good afternoon in America, maybe, and still good morning, Nunya, if you're listening in Aussie land. But go on, Fluke, take it away, mate. You've got 2 minutes, which means when he starts talking, that will turn into 22 minutes. But I will definitely cut him off in about 3 or 4 minutes' time, for sure.
I'm going to paraphrase Richard D. Hall, and he always says something along the lines of "only believe half of what you see and half of what you hear," and I would say, only believe half of what you see and only believe half of what you hear. The rest is down to you.
Yes.
Wow. Flo,
No way.
Right? I'm going to fill your head.
That was...
He's done me in right there. I was ready for another 4, 5, 50, 6, 7 hours. But no, he's let me down by being so precise, like he always is, guys. Luke, listen, honestly, massive respect and much love, Luke, mate, for that. Luke, we know he's a legend. Guys, Friday, please join me. Luke, you're all welcome on. If sometimes I only do 6 max, and the odd time it has been where it kind of goes where there's people backstage, but you can't bring them in. It's a daft thing sometimes. Yeah, come on Friday and say hello, have a good chat with us. Tonight's been superb. Burberry and Audits, mate, massive respect. Superb. Thanks for what you've said and your little donation. I'll get a cup of coffee with that,
anytime,
mate,
bro.
no doubt.
Yeah, no, anytime. Anytime, bro.
Yeah,
It's what it's all about, right? Here to support one another.
Honestly, mate, great family tonight. Really bonded well. Sarah, massive love. Master on, you're always about. Cheers, mate. Great input as always. So I'll see you on Friday. I hope.
If I can just say as well, thanks to everybody that's been on the panel tonight, because they've all been cool as fuck, and we've had a great discussion, and that's what life's all about. If we can't talk, we can't think, So thanks for Dino for having me on again. Master on, Zara, and everybody else that's been on the channel tonight. I really do appreciate it, and I learn a lot from you guys as well. So it's a two-way street.
Absolutely, mate.
Respect, Fluke, man. Respect, dude.
Super. Right,
Respect
just one last mention. Leah M. Zara, you've been massive, honestly, you all have. But Leah M, guys, we're all familiar with Leah M as a moderator.
I love Leah M.
So that's the last name I'm gonna mention. I can never think of the word for Leah. It's just Leah M, I think. See you soon. Cheers, guys. Massive.
Thanks to everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, God bless people.
Bye all.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.